We are live.
Welcome to the True Sky Crew podcast, where we share our cosmic pearls of wisdom. Why True Sky Astrology? Because when we align with the true sky, we align with our true self. We are your hosts, Sachi and Janine. Thank you all for joining us live, or for anyone who is joining us on the replay. Today, we will be discussing a May 2024 transit.
If that tells you where we're at right now. May transits,
There's just this little bit extra of Mercury retrograde. Well, I guess Mercury stationing direct. But wowza, the last day of Mercury retrograde. Always
Yeah.
makes me a little tongue-tied.
Just, sneaking that last bit of whatever in there. I am so glad to say goodbye to this Mercury retrograde. It has been pulling on me so hard. I've been laid out on the floor for 3 weeks. So, see ya. But hopefully that means I've moved through a lot of karmic stuff. So that's good news. But yeah, how's everybody in the group chat feeling? Hey, Melody.
Hey, Melody.
Welcome.
Yeah. So for welcome to episode 19. So some updates on the planner. We are meeting this weekend to go over the final edits, and you will have May's daily planner pages in your email on Monday sometime. Thank you very much for all of your patience, everybody. That Mercury retrograde, if it's like Mercury rules communication and editing and things like that. So sometimes when these transits happen, it's like you might as well just wait until it's over to
just put it down. That and the eclipse cycle, I think that's probably why it was so intense too. It's like Mercury retrograde and an eclipse month.
Yeah.
Blah. Not conducive. Yeah, it was intense. You can tell, like, my words tonight might just, they may not work. Brain may not work tonight. We're going to see how this goes. I've been out in the woods for 3 days, so we'll see if I get it together for a couple hours. Yes, Melody says, yee, what a portal we are in.
Yes.
No joke, sister. No joke. Good job. She's riding that wave.
Yes, we are all
we like to hear.
Riding it and staying on our boogie boards.
Surf it.
And for anybody who has not already purchased their planner or calendar, just a reminder that you can go to sachitheseer.com. I now have this handy dandy little True Sky Astrology tool button. If you're on your phone, you would click the 3 little buttons that are right here. And all of the goodness of the True Sky Crew tools are here. So we have the full planner, the full wall calendar PDF, or a printed version that will be shipped to you. And then we also have immediate downloads of the calendar for the entire year. And then we have the journal pages for bi-monthly available through April. And May will be up on Monday. So
yeah, and just a heads up for anybody who purchases the daily planner. It's kind of month by month. We're hoping to get a whole whack of them done. This month's been rough. So, if you don't see May for the daily planner on this True Sky Astrology Tools page, it's coming. It's coming. Just hang in there. And everybody that has purchased one will be getting theirs on Monday. Yay!
Yes. So check Monday back in the shop, or Tuesday back in the shop. That will be available. And thank you for everyone who continues to support us and still purchasing the PDFs and months and full planners and everything. We really appreciate you. And we are doing our best to get ahead of the curve, so to speak, when it comes to these months. So we appreciate
once the Mercury retrograde moves out, I have a feeling it's gonna be full steam ahead. So I will be very happy to get the rest of the year finished and sent out so everybody can have that well in advance instead of just kind of keeping up month by month. But I have to say, all your support leads us to the next item on our discussion.
Yes, it
Solstice meetup announcement.
Yes. So exciting.
Sachi and I were like, we really need to meet up. You know, just her and I at first. And then it's like, you know what? Let's open it up to others. Let's just do it. So we're kind of in the planning phases. We just wanted to drop some feelers out there for anybody who might be interested in meeting up. Yeah, the location's still TBD. See, Mercury retrograde. To be determined.
Yep. And so if you are interested in meeting up with us and doing some, I guess maybe glamping, I would call it, you know, sharing a space together and sharing some meals together and doing some cool things together, let us know. We already know it's going to be the solstice weekend, so you can sort of mark that on your calendar and pencil it in. And then, yeah, let us know in the comments or the live chat if that's something you'd be interested in joining. We plan on having it being a small exclusive group, no more than 10 individuals. So let us know.
Yeah, anybody who is definitely in, drop us a DM and we'll start making a list. And we'll give you guys more details. We'll probably have a lot of it figured out in a couple weeks. But this is for the summer solstice, just FYI, not winter solstice.
Not winter solstice.
That would be too cold.
Yes.
It's way more fun to do summer things. So yay. That's hopefully we, you know, want to do a lot of these kinds of things where stargazing is involved in certain celestial events. You know, maybe even meet up for some cool meteor showers at some point. That would be fun. And, you know, like I dropped a feeler in a story a few weeks ago that was like, hey, 2026, there's a total solar eclipse in Spain.
Yes,
it's those kinds of things. Yeah, let's travel to the events and let's go. I mean, that's like sneaky grid work. Getting a group of people and we all just sort of hang out with good vibes like that fuels the grid in that location. So I think that kind of stuff's super fun. Definitely. So also keep 2026 in your pocket, you guys.
Yes, keep it on the radar.
Good times. Yeah, looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that too. All right, so are you ready for May?
Yes, we don't have any listener questions. I don't think we do. Let me super quick check YouTube. There are a couple comments. Nothing. That's a question. Okay. Good to know. Moving on.
Ready.
Let's go talk about May. May is really, this is the first, once we get to the new moon in May, it's kind of the end of this really potent eclipse cycle, you know, the eclipse lunation. So hopefully May, it'll simmer down a little bit and we'll move into more integration phase until the next eclipse cycle. That'll be nice. So let's see what's going on. Sun is in the Aries Cetus void and we'll be moving into Taurus on May 11th. That'll help us feel more grounded. That'll be good.
Definitely.
Yeah. There he goes. A little bit of probably some interesting things. You know, Uranus rocking the boat on May 13th with a conjunction, Sun conjunct Uranus. That'll be interesting. Could be some interesting shifts in your life, sudden shifts, for better, for worse. You never, Uranus, like, I feel like Uranus is like this chaotic, neutral character. He's like, if it's in the energy, I just bring it to you. Like, good or bad, I'm just the messenger. So that could be an interesting day. But in Taurus, it might be to help you stabilize some things in your soul blueprint. So I feel like that might be. It could be interesting. And then a few days
things come into light about what's happening in the tech industry, and some, as we talked about in our April transit episode, Uranus moving into Taurus is really going to cause a lot of slowing down when it comes to how we are utilizing tech and integrating it.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and with
Sun,
yeah, sun is like your soul energy, so it can also be like your soul is very high tech. Maybe there's some grounding of like soul templates that want to come in too at a, soul level. That could be cool. More like I know we were talking last month, more natural type tech coming in, working with the planet more, nature-based technology. That would be nice to see. Cleanup efforts possibly.
Definitely.
And then May 18th, Sun will be conjunct Jupiter. So it's like a 1-2 pow pow.
That's a fun day.
Yeah, look how close that conjunction will be to the Pleiades there. Super close. Surfing that energy in. Pleiades energy is so fascinating because there's big soul group from the Pleiades that's working with Earth. So, yes. And then those are the major conjunctions with Sun this month. And then the significant
feels like a feast day.
A feast day?
Yeah, it feels like a feast day. It was Sun conjunct Jupiter and Taurus. Like,
yeah.
I just see like this giant table full of all this beautiful food and drink.
Yeah, I can see that, like cornucopia, like all the pleasures,
so much
the
abundance.
tactile, the tastes, bare feet on the grass, all the picnic vibes for sure. I can see that. So significant fixed star alignments with the sun this month. May 4th, Almach in Andromeda. And Almach and Menkar are pretty much in the same alignment. The sun transits one on the 4th and Menkar on the 5th. So there's only about 24 hours between it being aligned with both those stars. So it usually is felt as a blended energy. And I kind of read this as like ancient Andromedan things, like Cetus level in your psyche, sort of very deep in the psyche, galactic origins, Andromedan things that may need some shadow work to integrate. So that's a very potent alignment. Those 2 days might be intense.
Definitely.
Yeah. And you can see the sun is cruising through the Aries Cetus void there, right underneath the ram. Let's point out to folks too, because we do get a lot of comments. Like, I know we talk about this a lot, but the artwork with Aries, everybody's like, "Oh, his back feet are crossing the ecliptic." No. When you look at the actual asterisms of Aries, this is just to clarify because the sun is moving through here in May. The asterisms are set well above the ecliptic. So it's really important to turn off your artwork when you're looking at the zodiac.
There we go.
Yep. And you'll see the back foot of the ram is above the ecliptic. Yeah. The moon will cross it. Some of the other planets will cross it because the moon isn't on the same ecliptic as the sun. It has a 5-degree tilt to the sun. So it will go above and below the ecliptic in places. So sometimes the moon will cross that, the asterisms of Aries. But this is why we talk about this area as a void space.
That's why we say Taurus is technically the first zodiac sign, since zodiac, the definition of a zodiac sign means that the sun transits through it, aka it is on the ecliptic. During our lifetime, Aries is not on the ecliptic. Neither is Cetus, which is why we, kind of consider them one space. You can't really understand one without the other.
Yeah.
The sun never goes in.
Right. He just scoots right under the back feet there. And I feel like it gives it such a much more complex, dynamic relationship to those two as like a consciousness bridge. And then Taurus, boom, you're landed in the manifested realm. So if anybody wants to know more about that, episode 2.
Yep.
Episode 2.
Cetus, there's tons of info there.
Yeah.
I think I'll keep the pictures off for the rest of the episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I don't think they really add value.
I feel like people need to know what the actual constellation looks like. It'll help you locate it when you come meet up with us in the solstice.
Exactly.
So we're going to be out there with a laser pointer. So time to study, everybody.
That's right.
No pressure. No pressure. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. So that's our little cliff note on that area. If you want to go more in depth on Aries Cetus, check out episode 2 and get it on. Let's see what else we got. May 8th. Sun is aligned. Yeah, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. If it's Rushba or Rukba. I don't know.
Probably sounds right.
It sounds more feminine, so I usually call it Rushba, but it could be Rukba. If anybody knows, let us know. Sometimes fixed star names are up for grabs. And then in the same alignment is Bharani and Aries. So it's like a blended Aries Cassiopeia energy. Which is an interesting combo. Yeah, and his tail. The tail of the ram. So I feel like that's kind of, it feels a little intense with Bharani. I know Bharani is a well-known Vedic star.
Yes.
With not the greatest understanding attached to it, or not understanding, but mythology storyline.
It's a cosmic womb yoni. So a lot of trauma can happen to the yoni, especially in that system. There's definitely a lot of not good things that happen.
Yeah, and being in alignment with a Cassiopeia star does feel like it's definitely dealing with something sovereign, feminine, wounding type thing. So that's May 8th. May 16th, Algol. Good Lord. We're going to have to do a whole episode on Algol.
Wait a minute. Are you sure that's not moon aligned with Bharani? Because if we draw the perpendicular line, it's like over here.
I'm pretty sure it's... What day are you on?
May 8th.
I would have to look at the software. We'll make a note. We'll go back and check that.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you on the right year?
Yeah, 2024.
Okay. Okay. Just check. I was like,
oh God.
Hey, I've done that before.
Yeah, I did that in one episode. Yeah.
I do that with my Sky app. Like, I'll go look something up for somebody, and then it'll be like 1972, and I'll be like, "Oh man!"
I know. Yeah, that happened to me when I was looking at Pluto return stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like looking up someone's birth chart, like, why is Pluto there?
No, that's right. 41 Aries is Bharani.
Okay.
Yeah, right, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's right, because I was staring at that star.
I thought it was this, but yeah, no, it's the butt, not the leg.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, this is Bharani.
So that's it. That's Bharani.
Okay. Yep, that was my bad. All right.
Yes. Stars. They have so many names.
41 Aries.
Yeah. And the only reason I know that is because the software calls it 41 Aries. Otherwise, I would have been like, I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. I have memorized that is 41 Aries is Bharani. Okay. So May 16th, Algol. Back to Algol. This star, y'all, seriously, it's up there with Thuban. It is a tough star. It is Medusa's head in Perseus constellation. So that is one intense star.
Yes, it is. The Gorgon head.
Yeah. Demonized feminine energy. There's a lot to work out with that star. We're just going to have to do a whole episode on it because that's a very interesting star system. It's a trinary star system where one or two of them are orbiting each other and one is vamping off the other star. And then there's a tertiary one that sort of orbits around the other two. So I feel like that's probably in the mythology where it gets its name. The demon star is because one of the stars is eating the other star, basically.
Yeah, vampirism.
So, sure. Yeah, but on the flip side of that is like, if you have alignments in your natal chart, which Sachi and I both do in opposition to certain things, it's like, as you process through that and integrate that energy, like the quantum leaps with your feminine energy is incredible because you're going from a binary system to a trinary system. Like you're working into that trinary star system. So you basically recode the star's energy by doing your own alchemy with that system. But it is a very intense star. There's usually lots of things associated with that, like soul wounds, curses, black magic, which I have thoughts about black magic that we'll have to, maybe I'll do a post on it or something on my feed. But calling black magic is actually demonizing black as the womb space. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's got to be recoded now too.
Yeah.
So
darkness.
We can call it manipulative magic.
Yeah.
Superseding
free will magic.
Yeah. So I think recoding that is the first step in understanding, it's creation. Black magic is creation magic. Anyway, can be associated with alcohol. Manipulative magic.
Also the R word.
What's the R word?
So I don't want to say it in case it triggers people. But along the lines of sexual abuse, alcohol holds a lot of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As like Medusa's history of what happened to her.
Yeah. Blood magic, sex magic, all kinds of victimization programs. Like it is just chock-a-block full of recoding opportunities.
Yeah.
And if you have stars aligned here in your natal chart, it's it usually shows some intense alchemy that you need to do for sure.
And definitely reclaiming that feminine energy that has been demonized.
Yeah, so the sun aligning with this is an opportunity to shine light on that. So I like the sun doing this. It just could bring up some intense things, or you could just witness the intensity if it's not something that's, in your natal chart. You might see it all around you. It could be a weird day.
Yeah, it could be.
Hang in there if it is. So May 29th, the Pleiades, yay! And also the Hyades, that's is that the 20th? That's the 20th. Okay. Yeah. 20th and the 26th. I feel like the Pleiades and the Hyades have a similar energy. There are starseed groups that come from both clusters. More well known as the Pleiades, obviously, but those clusters are set in Taurus, so they're not, they're more like conjunctions than alignments. So you'll feel them a little stronger. But I love the energy of the Pleiades. I love the energy of the Hyades. They feel so feminine. And light. So that's a nice change after cruising through alcohol alignments.
Yeah. And if you are a Pleiadian starseed or work in that world, definitely a good time to connect.
Yeah, great day to meditate. Meditate. You don't even have to try if you are, from that soul group, just take some time to chill out, connect in with the earth. Put your feet in the grass.
Yeah.
Go out to the park and just lay around under a tree and you'll do what you need to do. Just get grounded. They made it easy for you. Just go,
it's like it's all here.
Connect in. Yeah.
It's all here around you. All you gotta
right.
do is go access it.
Yeah. Nice day for a stroll. Or a couple days. Yeah, the 20th and 26th feels very lovely. And then at the end of the month on the 30th, well, that's the day before the end of the month. The sun snuck in alignment with Royal Star Aldebaran. Actually, I think it's technically called Aldebaran because it's yeah. But I'll probably still call it Aldebaran. Habits.
So I have a habit of doing that too.
Yeah, that is a huge star. Power portal, that's like a hierogamic union power portal because the soul groups that come through that are both like the divine masculines, like the Michael lineages. I want to say the Jesus lineages because it's like the Melchizedek's access earth through that portal too, but also the Magdalenes, like the Mary lineages. So that's why I consider it the hierogamic union portal. Like, and if there was ever a power portal, you know, like a manifestation power portal, of course it would be the fake star, where it's like where that union, where they both can use that portal. I'm like, well, duh, of course. So that is a power day right there. So powerful, sun aligning with that star. And that is considered Watcher of the East. Aldebaran, Watcher of the East, or Guardian of the East in the sky. Which I think all that comes from Babylonian astrology. Yeah, I think so. There's some things I'm looking into with the timing of when those were considered the royal stars. Yeah, because it was like the position, you know, this called Watcher of the East because it was in the eastern position, but the sky has changed since then. So one of my theories is, so have the royal stars changed? The ones that designate east, west, north, south. So stay tuned for that. For now, we're still going to talk about Aldebaran as Watcher of the East, but we'll see where it goes. Still a powerful day. Powerful star, big red star. I think some, I don't want to say some, I think mostly it's known as the Eye of the Bull, but the asterisms I use, the system places it at the heart of the bull, which I feel like that's a more appropriate place for it to be. Connecting with that heart chakra. Connect those, you know, because the heart is the hierogamic union portal where the two triangles connect, right? So to make the Star of David shape. So it's like, of course, it's the heart of the bull. Power day. I'm going to make a note that is very potentially a power day. So what do you think about the feels on this month with all that action? There's some
feels pretty good. It's kind of like there's a, you know, the algal alignment is probably going to be a deeper day, but overall it feels pretty good. Just like, you know, getting out of the Aries Cetus void and moving into Taurus is like giving birth. So the whole time it's going through the Aries Cetus void, it's like a series of contractions. The birth process is still happening, but once you get out on the other side, it's like, oh, okay, like you've gone through the womb portal and now you're in physicality. So things I think are going to be a lot more clear for the collective, because when you're going through this Aries Cetus void, there's so much potential. It's like it's such a malleable timeline. such a malleable period of space-time where you can really rebirth in so many ways. But once you get to Taurus season, it's like, okay, this is what the cycle is going to be. This is how it's materializing.
The jello starts to set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. It does feel malleable through that Aries Cetus void. Like all the consciousness, the thought forms, all the potentials, and then it's like, okay, now we're in Taurus, time to start moving that direction, and you really start landing some of that stuff. So May is the first part of May is definitely be mindful of what you're percolating.
Yeah,
because you're getting ready to land it. Also, coming out of the eclipse stuff, it like simmers. Well, because we've just had the eclipse last month, it's like, okay, then we're gonna start simmering some things in the Aries Cetus void, and then watch all those timelines drop in.
Yeah,
as the sun goes into Taurus. Yeah,
yeah, simmering.
That's right.
Yep, you eat what you cook.
Yep.
All right, you ready to move on to the moon?
Yes, ready to move on to the moon.
All right. I made a little...
Ready to move beyond the moon, but let's talk about the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Oh, I emailed you those charts for the moon stuff.
I do have them. Let me see.
Okay. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah. I forgot to move them to the folder that they're supposed to be in. Okay. All right.
Oh, thanks for, did I leave that? Did that say April?
It did, yeah. So I switched it over.
That's awesome. Thanks for that.
Yeah, it looks a little whatever, but I just noticed it. So
I'll change it before we post it. Good catch. Y'all, I was doing this last night at my campsite.
with the real stars and the real sky.
With the real stars and the moon above my head, and the owls last night were hooting like crazy. It was so wild.
Awesome.
I'll have to post in the stories like how hooty the owls were. Like, it must be owl breeding season because they were going to town. It was hilarious. So I was probably a little distracted.
All good.
Good laugh. Okay, new moon in the Aries Cetus void. So yes, the sun will be transiting through the Aries Cetus void, for part of May. But guess what? The moon cycle is going to be carrying that energy until the next new moon in June. So, there it is. So, and this one feels a little bit... this is the one with the yod. This one feels like a workout, honestly. This lunar cycle feels like a workout. So aspects: conjunct Uranus, conjunct Venus, and conjunct Jupiter. So Venus is on one side, Uranus and Jupiter is on the other side.
That's a nice party.
It's an interesting, it's like, that's, Uranus and Venus is like, ooh, that's somatic electricity, and Jupiter's like, it's big. But look at where Jupiter's parked with the fixed stars at Algol. That feels spicy.
Yeah, that is intense.
Yeah. That feels like, for people who are very somatic in their body, if you've got anything that needs to be resolved, lunar matrix things, like, good Lord, you are going to feel it this month. With this lunar cycle. It feels intense. And then sextile Saturn and Aquarius. Yeah, it's like, hello, got karma at Anka and Phoenix. So opportunities to rebirth through that. Sextiles are supportive generally. Aquarius does feel, Uranus rules Aquarius, so it feels like that's connected there. Like, the picture that this is painting is like so consistent. A semi-sextile to the North Node in Pisces, aligned with Alpheratz and Andromeda. So that's like genetic template recoding. Still makes sense to me. What's going on here? And then there's an inconjunct. This is the interesting part. An inconjunct with the South Node in Virgo at Aldebaran. That's that start at a Draco that we were talking about last episode. That's right in the middle of Draco's body. It feels like a Draco portal because of the location in the constellation. And inconjuncts are notoriously like, you don't know what you don't know. Something from a past life that wants to come up to be seen, but it may feel like noodling around, like in some murky water to find it. Like, I just don't know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I always say that it's like an aspect of expansion. So it's going to force you to expand in some way, and whatever the theme is or whatever's going on becomes more prominent because you have to like expand into the situation. Whereas like on the flip side, the semi-sextile I always take as it's room for growth, but as you grow into whatever's happening, it becomes less of an issue. Like it's not, you don't have to continue with that theme. So the semi-sextile towards the with North Node is going to be less of an issue moving forward, whereas the in conjunction is going to be. So it's basically pointing you more towards South Node issues rather than pushing you towards North Node stuff.
It's surfacing the South Node issues.
Right. Yeah.
There is a yod, like the
inconjunct.
Yeah, the inconjunct is with the South Node, but it makes it a yod with the South Node, Saturn, and the new moon. I'm like, what?
That's moon matrix, big
recoding. Yeah.
Hand of God, as they say, or finger of God, as they call it.
Purge thy past life bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like enough of that. That's not even you this time.
Yeah. So the sextile end is like the opportunity when the apex, the South Node at the apex of the yod is significantly, or not significantly, is appropriately surfaced and you've dealt with it. It's like then you activate the sextile end and it's like, hey, look, we can recode that Saturn moon matrix stuff. Yay. And it's in the Aries, the moon in the Aries Cetus void, right? So it's like, yeah, you can create some new things with this new moon, but it's gonna be uncomfortable, unfortunately.
You have to do your lunar work, your emotional work, because the way your emotional body and your spirit are calibrated during this portal as the sun and with the new moon, as it's moving through this portal, like you have to hold the vibe so that you get to Taurus. Because if you're going through all these deep, dark, emotional stuff and you get stuck there and you let it sort of take over your programming rather than reprogramming it as it's coming up, that's not going to be fun. But this is really a great opportunity to recode yourself emotionally.
Yes, I have a feeling the clue for me is the semi-sextile with the North Node at Alpharats. It's like, even though that's not the focus, like there is the recoding is at a galactic template level. So it's like, it's going to bring up galactic lifetime things, and if people who aren't working on that stuff consciously, like it might just show up in dreams in weird ways, or you just might feel like yucky for a month and you just don't understand why, and it's like you're just working it out on autopilot unless you understand that that's what's coming up and you also understand how to do the alchemy on it.
Yeah.
So I think it's an interesting combination of things, both like a little bit of cleanup. We're making attunements to galactic templates. Look at where the fixed stars are for the sun and moon, or the alignments with the new moon fixed stars, that Rushba star in Cassiopeia and Barani and Aries, which we were talking about in the sun section, that's not the easiest combo either. It's like wounded feminine sovereignty templates.
Yeah.
So that's your clue right there, is like
big yoni energy.
That divine feminine. Big yoni energy.
Yeah, that is definitely this new moon.
Yeah, big yoni clean out that root chakra, baby.
For sure. Do steam.
Steam that baby. That's actually a good idea. And also, body code, emotion code, always my go-tos. That stuff, you can steam that yoni all day. Nothing clears out stuck energy faster than body code or emotion code. It's like, just go straight and find what the thing is and pull it out of your template and recode it. So, but also a good steam never hurt anything.
Yeah, I've actually never done one, but I've heard great things about them. And I know in our planner, when everyone receives it, one of the plant medicine or plant remedies that is recommended is something that you can use in a yoni steam.
Oh, fascinating. I've never done one either, but I've thought about it several times. Maybe this is the month to do it.
Yeah, I'm always like, okay, if that happens, like one will appear, and then like the pot, I guess, that you're supposed to use will also appear. So that hasn't
happened yet.
Vibrated into my life yet, but when it does, we'll give you updates. We'll give you updates, listeners, about how the yoni steam goes. But if you've ever tried one, let us know in the chat.
Let us know in the comments. Yeah, I think that, I don't know, I think that just might be the thing to do this month for those of you with a yoni.
Yeah, especially because even this whole lunar cycle is all about the genitals. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah. So that feels fairly intense, opening a lunar cycle of some serious recoding work. You can move through stuff in leaps and bounds. It's funny that this is the lunar cycle after the eclipse cycle. It's like, that really doesn't feel any easier, universe. Thank you very much.
Well, it's kind of like you had the eclipse cycle plus, the extra Virgo moon, like the last Virgo full moon that we just had a couple days ago, 2 days ago, is like, okay, are you finished with that lesson? Like, did you do the Virgo stuff during the eclipse? If not, okay, now you have a little bit of time. You have 2 weeks, right? You got 2 weeks to do it before this new moon hits. So I think it's like, it was more of a grace period more than anything, of like, okay, you had a little extra time to recalibrate, and now
we're going in again.
Yeah, now it's like the contractions have started. Like, you're going into labor and you can't stop it. It's a positive feedback mechanism. So
yes, positive feedback mechanism. It's birthing time. It's birthing time.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, the Uranus Venus Jupiter conjunction thing is definitely shift those feminine templates.
Yeah,
shift that energy.
All the midwives are there,
Yes,
the
for
doula,
sure.
all of that.
Yes, honey. Amazing. Well, we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah.
I might be in bed for a month. We'll see.
And let's see. I'm just gonna pull it up on the Sky app. What time is it? 11:22.
Oh no.
Ooh, I like it.
Magic numbers.
1122. That's definitely alignment and balance codes coming in. Of course, this is for the Eastern time zone.
In the US, yeah. There
it
is.
We see Venus over here, Uranus and Jupiter over there. Beautiful. Are you ready to move to the full moon?
Let's check it out.
Let's do it. Okay. Let's see here. And this one definitely is pulling no punches, or perhaps stings. Which it's great. Our next episode is going to be on Scorpius. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot more into detail about what this full moon is going to bring, because Scorpius is just so multi-dimensional, multi-emanational, if that's a word. And Janine and I both come from a tropical Scorpius background, or Scorpio background, we should say. And wowza, that's also going to be an episode that we have a lot to say.
Yeah.
But
half of our lives we studied Scorpio so intensely.
Yeah, by living it. And I think everyone would agree Scorpius is the most intense of all the signs. Some people just avoid Scorpios in their life because like
they think they're so, I don't know, whatever, goth, moody.
Yeah, I guess maybe just like the intensity. It can be, the obsession.
Yeah, that intense like water.
Actually being in darkness, or wanting to spiritually merge souls
That can be a lot for people. Yeah, that sort of intense, I want to be in your skin kind of
Yeah,
energy.
literally. And Libra's like, oh no, this is my skin.
Not my beautiful moisturized skin. No, honey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, interestingly though, even though my sun sign and my Venus sign shifted to Libra, it made, in True Sky, it made my North Node and my Neptune in Scorpio Fucus. So
Yeah.
I still have a good amount of Scorpio energy going on. Yeah.
Yeah. My Mercury's in Scorpius. And then
ooh, that's so clairvoyant though.
Yeah, it is. And I can talk to the dead too. So
there it is. Yeah.
And my North Node's in Ophiuchus. Surprise, surprise.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Actually.
Yeah.
Not a bit. Okay, look, I got the right month on this slide. Yay. Okay. Full flower moon in Scorpius. So we'll look at the sky app after we talk about this a little bit. It is Scorpio, all of Scorpio and Ophiuchus are overlapped. Yeah, let's look at it first. That way it'll make sense. So we've talked about, or we are going to talk about this in our next episode. All of Scorpio and Ophiuchus are overlapped through alignments. Like actually, Ophiuchus envelops all of Scorpio. So all of that scorpionic energy is held within Ophiuchus energy just by like a hair on either end. But you have to take into account where the moon is actually moving through the sky. So the moon is not moving on the ecliptic or not aligned exactly with the ecliptic. It's actually moving through Scorpio constellation. I mean, this full moon is exactly aligned at that membrane at the beginning of Scorpio, where it's like when I did that deep dive into Scorpio Fucus this year, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like the most intensity is when the ecliptic passes through that membrane. Look at that. Look at that. Mm-hmm. So this is where this full moon is going to be, like right at the proverbial gong. Bong. Right there.
Well, so yeah, intensely Scorpio. So here's Ophiuchus and serpents, which is what he's holding. So as it's moving through Scorpius, which it is going to go through the actual asterism, going through the actual constellation, but it's going to be aligned with Ophiuchus and serpent's energy the whole time. And it's hard to understand one without the other. And again, we are going to talk about this in detail in our next episode, because Scorpius has multiple emanations. One of them is snake. And so you can't reach higher up emanations of being a Scorpio, like eagle and phoenix, which most are familiar with, without grappling the snake emanation, the snake spirit. So because snake spirit represents continuing the same thing over and over again. That's when you get caught in the cycle of death and rebirth, but only into the same thing over and over again. It's when you're using your kundalini basically to create the same thing over. It's kind of like how a snake would shed its skin, right? Only to become a bigger, fatter snake. You're still shedding your skin of the situation and rebirthing, but you're still the same thing, rather than actually going through the transmutation process and getting to a higher emanation. Very similar to the way that we talk about spiraling upwards or downwards. So you want to be alchemizing upwards in that cycle, but sometimes you just get stuck in a loop, and that's snake spirit. So you can't reach the highest potential of scorpionic energy without mastering the Ophiuchian skills. So that's why you can't really understand one without the other. However, you can be a complete lower emanation Scorpio and never even get close to reaching those Ophiuchian energy. You can stay a spider spirit or a scorpion your whole life. That's for sure. And those are the toxic people that you want to stay away from.
The challenging Scorpio energy, for sure. They're not on their alchemical path. And their multi-dimensional path, which is so what Scorpio at the most profound levels is really about. It's about understanding that you've had more than one life, understanding the Akashic ancestor work, like all kinds of, just the layers of dimensions, things like that. It's like school for that stuff. Scorpio's like school for that stuff. So yeah, don't roll around, don't stay stuck in that looping spider energy or that looping serpent energy. Like you want to continue to spiral up into a fucus energy. But the moon is definitely this is a full moon, so this is really gonna be bringing up some of that scorpionic sludge from that dank ass murky water. It's like, hello down there in that well. Who wants to come? What skeletons want to come up to be addressed?
That's like you got to roto root.
Yeah, go
roto root your emotional body.
Yeah, for sure. So I do feel like this is the most intense area when a planet transits through the first cusp stars. Yeah. It starts to wane. I mean, the tail is powerful too, but the tail is well below the ecliptic, thank goodness. So it's more of a balance of a fucus and Scorpio. This is definitely going to be some power Scorpio alchemy.
Definitely.
It feels like it might be a very emotional moon.
Oh yeah. I mean, I doubt anyone would argue that a Scorpio full moon is the most intense full moon. Just like without, an eclipse or super moon or, all other variables aside, Scorpio is.
Yeah. It's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's hilarious that it's the flower moon. It's like, that is so not how you describe a Scorpio moon. I mean, but there we are.
I feel like black maybe dahlia, it's like a black poppy, black.
I'm thinking like pitcher plants that eat bugs. Venus flytraps. That feels like what kind of flower we're dealing with here.
I always plant black petunias too, and they're gorgeous.
Ooh, those do sound pretty.
Like scorpionic vibes too.
Yeah.
But also on the high vibe, Scorpio full moons, because you are releasing so much energy, particularly, that deep, deep scorpionic emotional energy. There's so much potential for alchemy and transmutation, personal rebirthing. It's a really great time to be setting your intentions of like, okay, what am I just done with? Like completely done with from the depths of my soul, from the depths of my being on all timelines, all dimensions, and spaces outside of time and times outside of space. Like just getting rid of that sludge.
Yep.
It's a really powerful
that phrase is key. What lifetime is this from? Or, the thing, because in the now moment, you can access all that stuff concurrently. And sometimes you don't know what you're accessing. You just feel it. That's Scorpio, right? So sometimes delineating, that was from a lifetime, 12 lifetimes ago or something. It will teach you the things that come up through Scorpio moon will teach you about multidimensionality. So those are some good things to keep in mind, is like, what timeline, what lifetime, what dimension, where's this coming from? Because it's probably not from your lifetime. It may or may not. Everything's concurrent. Something will echo in your lifetime, but it's to see the ripple throughout all time and space and be like, oh, haha, I got it. And then you just change it. Yep. When you feel it, you process it. It no longer needs to show up again. You've started to spiral up into that Ophiuchus, mastering your Kundalini's energy. So good times. Let's switch back real quick to the other one and see what the aspects look like. Oh, good golly. Conjunct asteroid Lilith in retrograde. Oof. I know. And it's very conjunct, you guys, like within 1 degree, because asteroid Lilith is at Graphias and the full moon's at Desheba, if that's how you say that. And those two stars are basically in the same alignment, the right and the claws.
That is intense. Even more of that, dark divine feminine energy coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like a divine feminine recode this month with this lunar cycle, for sure. Some deep feminine purging of that stuff. Opposite the sun in Taurus at Myrfak in Perseus. So Myrfak is Alpha Perseus. Algol, which we were talking about earlier, is Beta Perseus. So I feel like this feels more masculine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. Balance over on the other side of the chart.
Mm-hmm.
Sun in Taurus, stable, more stable. Opposite Jupiter and Taurus at the Pleiades, opposite Venus and Taurus, also at the Pleiades. Those two guys, I'm pretty sure, conjunct that day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wow. That's a wow right there. What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, timeline jumping. Go. For
Definitely.
sure. Opposite Uranus and Taurus. 9-degree orb. That one's a pretty wide orb, but you'll still feel it. Try Neptune and Pisces at Sheet and Pegasus, aligned with Sheet.
Oh, Sheet.
Oh, Sheet. We do love you.
Sheet. Yeah.
I like this trine to Neptune. It does feel like, it feels like Neptune wants to help you move into those multidimensional realms to do the scorpionic work. So don't go into the dissociative Neptune or the escapist Neptune. Use the trine. They're supportive. Meditate or do an astral travel, or listen, if you don't know how to do astral traveling or you don't have access to it, listen to a guided meditation. Go out in nature with all these oppositions to Taurus. It seriously, go sit under a tree and just breathe. Just get grounded. That should help.
Yeah. Also document your dreams like around this time. I would say the whole week, because Neptune can send you messages that way from the ethers and bring messages to decode, especially that deep scorpionic waters. Neptune will be able to help make sense of it.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely be getting dreams. That's such a good point. Try Neptune. Yeah, dreams. Hello. All that lunar stuff coming up through the dream space.
And even what I find during very like Neptunian influenced times, you can even decode your waking life like you would a dream. So if you see a certain animal, look up that, spiritual meaning of the animal. If you see a certain number, it doesn't have to be, a repetitive number like 222 or something. It could be like 0845, maybe you see it on a little sticker and look it up. So you can also decode, your waking life, because with this trine also, even though it's so good to stay grounded in nature, the veil is also very lifted. So it's very thin. So you're going to be able to, it's kind of like in a waking dream. That's kind of how the alchemical process is, of like, oh, look at all these signs and symbols around me, and how am I going to take this information and transform myself through the wisdom and knowledge that I'm obtaining about myself.
Yeah, the veil might feel very, very thin around this full moon. So yeah, you may see stuff like that manifest, like the messages literally manifest in your 3D waking reality. And that is how you're in alignment, is like synchronicity increases. You understand how to read the matrix, basically, that kind of stuff. It's funny that I mentioned astral travel earlier too, because sextile Pluto retrograde in the Sag Cap void, but aligned with Altair. Like that is the astral travel star, like the astral Zoom room, collaborative group work in the astrals. Hilarious. So sextiles I consider open doorways. It's like, the opportunity will be there. It might show up in a dream. You have to take the initiative to do the work. It'd be like, I'm going to astral travel through this full moon. What's in highest alignment, higher self? And, make the statement.
Yeah. I always say that sextiles, they work well. Like they can technically work as a trine. When there's a trine, it's an energy system that you don't really have to put anything into. So the moon and Neptune are automatically going to be working together in your favor. With a sextile, it's like you have to put energy into we'll call it a reaction, in order to gain something from it. So it's like the energy that you put in is the energy that you get out of it. Whereas a trine, like, you don't really have to do anything. They're already,
it's flowing,
bubbling.
Yeah, it's flowing. Whereas the sextile, I agree, is like, hey, the thing may show up. You have to take an action step to engage with it, to move it through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say with that, it's definitely about moving up into higher dimensional astral work. The opportunity, it seems clear, is like there's some feminine stuff. Get in your body, get grounded, clear out whatever distorted feminine things need to come up to be seen, and shift that. And up you go, up and out you go. It's like Willy Wonka, up and
out. Yeah.
When there's no lead, in the soul blueprint and the astral body, when there's nothing keeping you in the lower astrals, you just start going out every night. Like once you start getting really clear, you'll just be like, I'm lucid dreaming every night now. I know people that they just, they've lived their life in alignment or whatever. Like they may not be doing conscious alchemy, but they've been true to themselves. And like after about their midlife transits, they're like, I don't know what happened. I'm lucid dreaming every night now. Like it's so cool, but it's like, I don't know why it happened. I'm like, I can tell you why it happened. It's these kinds of things, these kinds of transits where it's like, that door may open. You may get a taste of it with that sextile. You may get a taste of what that feels like. And then now that it's like, okay, keep calibrating to stabilize that. So you can do that at liberty. Learn how to do it while you're awake. Learn how to do it during meditation. Like where do you want to take it? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it might be intense, but with interesting playouts. The playouts could be fun. Could be really fun. Especially with all that Pleiadian alignment energy. Like that just feels like Jupiter and Venus want to just be light and fun. And, I know it's Earth sign, Taurus is Earth sign, but the alignment with the Pleiades feels fifth dimensional.
It feels very fairy-like.
Yeah. So
I
that feels
like lightning bugs.
Yeah, totally. Fireflies. Fireflied up, y'all. So anything else you want to throw in the hat for the full flower moon in Scorpius?
Just have fun, everybody. Be safe.
Yeah. Dream journal.
Yes.
Dream journal.
Are you ready to move to Mercury, or are you ready to move on to, well?
Yes, let's go take a look at what Mercury's doing.
Got to be so careful with the words with Mercury,
So true.
Alrighty. Yeah.
All right. Mercury's a busy guy this month. He's moving direct. Getting ready to go direct as we are recording this.
Yes, thank goodness.
I can feel it. So you'll be, May he will be fully direct and starting to pick up steam. He goes from, look at how many sign changes he makes. Pisces to Pisces, Aries, Cetus, Void, to Aries, Cetus, Void, to Taurus. So May 15th, he goes into that Trinity window, the Pisces, Cetus, Aries, Void. Or Pisces, Aries. I'm going to just have to start calling it the pack. It's going to the pack. Look at him. That's May 15th. He's in there for a few days because he moves so fast. On the 18th, Mercury moves into Aries, Cetus, Void. He's there for a little bit longer, just till the end of the month. On May 29th, Mercury moves into Taurus. Getting that communication grounded in there. Get all those shifts and changes. Hopefully by the time Mercury moves into Taurus, we'll start feeling a little bit more stable in that thought realm. I don't know. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself.
No, honestly, my
forward to
mental space has been so malleable. I've been getting so much information from like different sources. I had to like.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Too much information.
Exactly. Yeah. My crown chakra is just like, well, my causal chakra actually is just like, oh, new tubes. And I'm like, nice. Whoa. Let me be selective.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is
So
cool.
I'm looking forward to Mercury grounding a bit.
Yeah, slowing down a little bit, landing some of that stuff.
That explains why I like to go so fast with everything.
Yeah. And like why you get so many downloads, it's literally like it's your jam.
It is. And my jelly.
And your jelly. Jam and your jelly. All right. So let's see. Mercury conjunctions in May. May 6th, Chiron. Just take care of any business before he heads into that Pisces Aries Cetus void. And then May 30, is that the 31st? Yes, 31st, Uranus. That one also feels a little bit like, ooh, he could throw you a curveball that day. Both of those are a little bit interesting. You're in the 30. Oh, that'll be good. Uranus and Taurus. I feel like that will be good. Maybe landing some of those crown chakra attunements or third eye attunements, maybe grounding that into the body.
And even throat chakra, especially when Mercury is conjunct Chiron. It's interesting that Chiron's conjunct Mars once Mercury is conjunct Uranus.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of Chiron stuff going on with Mercury and Mars there. But yeah, when Chiron's conjunct Mercury, there's a lot of healing of the throat chakra, healing of the third eye. So it's like heal the way that you think and talk about your world and your life and your being and your everything. Because the way that you think, speak, feel about the universe is the way that it's materializing. And that's the most important thing as we move through the Aries Cetus void for any transit. Once it reaches Taurus, it's like, okay, everything you've been thinking, feeling, and wishing, saying, all of that is now in the material.
Yeah. Watch your self-talk, shift your self-talk. Yeah. Listen to how I would say mostly refer to yourself, because Taurus, the body, because the body, your body takes that on. Like, oh, you think this or that about the body? Well, okay, I'll reflect it to you if that's what you believe. So yeah, check that before you wreck that.
Yeah, exactly.
Uranus.
Don't talk shit about yourself because your body's listening. All your cells are listening. They're constantly responding to whatever you are saying about the world, your body itself. Don't identify with sickness or disease.
Yeah, that feels so in alignment with Mars conjunct Chiron over there too. Take action. If it's coming up, like address it as whatever the wounding is. Oh, I caught myself doing that. Okay, I'm going to take a different action. I'm going to take a different action.
Especially with that Mercury conjunct Chiron, it's like the bridge that you're seeking to get to that next dimension or that next step or next stage is through how you are communicating to yourself and the multiverse or universe.
Yeah, Mars conjunct Chiron. Yeah.
Well, when Mercury's there, when Mars is there, it's
okay. Yeah.
Now it's the way that you're taking action is the key.
Gotcha.
So the Mercury Chiron conjunction is more like the pre-work that you do so that you can take action in alignment with what you're saying and thinking.
Yeah. To land the shift of awareness, consciousness. Yeah, throat. You're right. It's like throat, third eye, crown. All those things are kind of mercurial. The downloads come in through the crown, and they come out your mouth sometimes, or you write a book or whatever.
Which I guess it makes sense that the hands could technically be an extension of the throat chakra.
Oh yeah,
because it is through creative expression. It also makes sense why Gemini would rule the hands as well.
Yeah, it could be some interesting Mercury attunements coming online. Like I can see light language, like some people who make the attunements with the hands, like their hands just start moving, kind of thing. Those definitely tune the field in interesting ways. I can see that coming online for some folks. Let's look at the fixed stars for Mercury. What is he doing? May 8th, Saturn. Okay, so he's cruising through some Andromeda alignments for a while. May 8th is Saturn in Andromeda. May 14th, Andromeda Galaxy. That'll be an interesting day. May 14th. It's going on the list.
Why is it going there? Which, okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, that was
Rando.
Do you know the other name
for Saturata? It's that theta. Is that theta? It's the right shoulder. Yeah, that's it. That's Saturata. Depends on the asterisms that you're looking at. I consider it the heart of Andromeda because the asterisms I use are a little different, but you get the idea. There it is. May 14th, Andromeda Galaxy will be interesting. That'll be that'll be a major code for people who are attuned and in alignment with their Mercury stuff. Good Lord, that is a download day. Make sure you do some breath work and meditate that day and ask your guides or higher self if there's any messages or any energy to conduit, because like Andromeda coding will probably want to come on in. Andromeda Galaxy, not constellation. Big difference.
Yep.
May
and if 16th. You want to learn more about Mercury and Pisces and all that good stuff, we talked about a lot of it in our April episode.
Yeah, go check it out. Yeah, there's a lot of Andromeda energy in April. Most of these planets are just coming off the tail end of that. Some of them are actually just starting to move into it, but most of them have moved out at this point. So May 16th, Mirak in Andromeda, another Andromeda alignment. He's starting to get towards the end of Andromeda, or 2/3 of the way through. May 21st, Hamal in Aries and Shadar in Cassiopeia. Another interesting Cassiopeia Aries combo. Feels spicy. I feel like that feels more empowering than the Bharani Rushba combo.
I agree.
Hamal feels more, more of that aligned Mars energy, divine masculine, coming and meeting the divine feminine. Like Cassiopeia is completely, that mythology needs to be completely recoded. Like, I mean, we'll do an episode on it at some point, but divine, sovereign, feminine energy and masculine energy coming together. I think that's a powerful day. He makes that in 2 days. May 25th and 26th, Almach and Mankar. So there's your intense Cetus level Andromeda recode kind of day. I always feel like this is like a recode alignment. Yeah, the Mankar Andromeda feels like a deep dive. And it's funny because Andromeda energy is so powerful and Cetus is so deep, and it's just like you gotta go deep to go get those really big codes. That's kind of how it feels. Yeah.
Yep.
So he covers that in 2 days. It's actually within a 24-hour period, but it just happened to be one was on one end of the day and one was like at the beginning of the next day. So in a 24-hour period. May 27th. This is the spicier Cassiopeia Aries combo on 27th. So Rushba and Bharani. Feels like a little bit of a cleanup job there. Wonder what'll come through Mercury on that day.
I wonder.
Really interesting. Probably negative self-talk, maybe. Watch your self-talk on the 27th. Like, are you feeling some kind of way on that day? Like, you talking smack about yourself? It can be more than just talking, too. I mean, Mercury's not all about talking. It's about thought processes, and it's about all kinds of things. So that'll be interesting. So he's a busy guy. Got some really cool Andromeda alignments at the beginning of the month or first half of the month, and then it feels like the second half feels a little bit more like work with Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to throw in there for Mercury?
No, I think that sounds good.
Okie dokie.
I'm ready for Venus.
Let's see what Venus is up to. She's not moving and shaking as much as she did last month. Man, she was flying last month.
Yeah.
She had a list of fixed star alignments. My goodness, lady.
Yeah, Venus has been busy. I've been feeling that too.
She slowed down a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. So at the end of April, she had moved into the Pisces Aries void, and she ends up popping out of that. Well, I don't want to say pop, moving out of the Pisces influence of the void area, that Trinity window, and moving into the Aries energy on May. What is that day? 2nd? I think it's May 2nd.
Yes, May 2nd.
So right at the beginning of the month. And then she transits the Aries void until May 16th when she moves into Taurus. Can y'all hear this cat purring? That's so funny.
Oh no, I can't hear. I can't hear it. That's
She's
very
just making biscuits.
Very Venusian. Aw, how cute.
I think she missed me.
Aw.
All right. Try and keep the purring to a minimum over here.
I can't hear it, so
okay.
I doubt anyone else can. Well, maybe they can. It's a nice background noise.
Background noise. Some asthmas in the background for you. All right. So she will be making it into one of her home signs, Taurus, this month. She's going to be very happy once she gets in there. Conjunctions: May 18th, Uranus, May 24th, Jupiter. Some big, interesting things. Yes. So interesting.
Oh, and Jupiter conjunct Venus, I love it. Luck in love, luck in abundance. If you feel like playing the lottery that day or something like that, go and do it. Traveling for love, traveling with loved ones. Oh, I just love the energy, especially in Taurus.
Yeah, especially in Taurus. Yeah. So somatics, all the big sensual feels. Like, seriously, that's a great day to just, like, the whole day is just one big spa day. Like, work it from that angle for sure.
Love yourself in the physical.
Love yourself, be in leisure, make it all luxurious.
Yes.
Yeah. Take the day off, treat yourself. Work that angle.
Word.
Yes. All right. Significant fixed star alignments: May 5th, Hamal and Aries, and Shadar and Cassiopeia. May 11th, Almec and Menkar. May 14th, Rushba and Barani. Spicier one. And then May 20th, Algol. Blah. So look at that. Between the Venus conjunct Uranus and Venus conjunct Jupiter, like right in the middle almost, she'll be making an alignment with Algol. Well, not right in the middle. 2 days after the Uranus transit or conjunction. Aligning with Algol. Interesting. Maybe not so fun. So it does. Energy is going to be swirling around with those two transits. So maybe the Uranus one is like, let's shift that. Let's shift that as we're surfing into that. That does feel kind of relevant there. I'm going to choose that angle with that transit.
Yeah. Plus, your Uranus can also bring up stuff that has to do with group relationships or some sort of class consciousness that you're a part of. So with the Venusian energy, it can be like what, beliefs about love or whatever it may be, access to the vibration of love and abundance is blocking me based on what class I'm in or came from or this group that I'm a part of, what they believe about this. And that group can be, you know, friends or family or co-workers or whatever it is. And yeah, that will probably come to light with this algal stuff. And by the time Venus reaches Jupiter, it's like, okay, yay, now let's expand and do it differently.
Yeah.
Treat yourself and treat
Yeah.
yourself with kindness, and you are abundant.
Huge divine
act like it.
feminine, yeah, divine feminine energy. Uranus can also have some really gnarly connotations, like weird cult rituals, like it,
Definitely.
like using the body technology and specifically the feminine energy, like because the feminine kind of is more connected to the body. Masculine is more action oriented and the thought processes and the doing of the thing, but manipulating the energy of the material to bend it to your will, kind of thing. So Uranus could bring stuff up like that, especially with the, you know, proximity of that alignment to algal. Is like, you could, some people could be wading through some stuff to shift that to the higher octave of Uranus, which is body technology, but it's light body technology. So you could be clearing distortions out through that transit as well, or through those few days. It could be uncomfortable. I feel like Venus and Uranus is like a recipe for somatic, all the feels. Like, you know, if there's stuff stuck that you don't have conscious understanding of, you might just hurt. Your body might hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it's trying to shift it. The more conscious you can address it, the faster you can shift it. So that might be a good memo for certain folks.
Definitely.
Who are working on some deep and gnarly things. But yeah, definitely the high octave is to shift it, right? To activate that feminine energy in alignment. You know, all that good Venusian, Jupiter, big goddess energy. Let's bring that in.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yay. On the 23rd, the Pleiades. Venus aligns with the Pleiades. That, yeah, that feels
and
like
still conjunct Jupiter.
You know,
that's good.
Yeah, still conjunct Jupiter or still incoming is like kind of in the same 24-hour window. That feels like a finish line. Boom, we made it to the 5th dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, can you feel that heart chakra?
Yes, blossoming, blooming.
Yes. Hyades, I feel like that's similar, soft and beautiful and feminine, and I like the Hyades, the energy of the Hyades. And then the 31st, all that feels like a lead up, like this gradient of energy until the 31st, where, you know, she waited till the last day of the month in May. Venus aligns with Royal Star Aldebaran. I was like, hello, rose codes.
Yes.
Welcome to planet Earth.
Yeah. Which is perfect for the flower moon we're having in Scorpius. It's like you gotta get all that sludge out of there. And it's like, you know, maybe some of it is shit, but you know, one man's shit is another man's compost. So like put it where it should go, you know.
And shit grows the best flowers.
Exactly. Like put it where it's supposed to be, grow from it, so that your heart chakra can open and blossom and bloom. Because wow, heart chakra openings, oh, I love them.
Yeah, I think that
feels like a never-ending rose, just opening, opening, opening.
That is the best. Oh, that's why they chose that as the visual, right? Mm-hmm. Because that is the only way you can describe it.
Mm-hmm.
The ever-blooming rose.
What it feels like. It is so beautiful and amazing. It's only happened to me a handful of times in my life, but whoa.
It's like a heart orgasm.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that feels like such a powerful day. There's probably going to be a lead up of purging to the 31st with that alignment with Aldebaran. But that's like half of that sort of hierogamic portal. So Venus is going to be bringing it for that. She's like, I'll bring you that Magdalene energy. I'll bring you all those codes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you attuned enough to hold them in your vessel? You know, it's like, is the chalice ready to receive that?
Mm-hmm.
So do the cleanup work.
Say yes.
Because it's coming.
Uh-huh.
Love it. I like where she ends up.
Me too. That's a great way to end May.
Yeah, I think so too. Yay, Venus.
Loving it. You ready for Mars?
Let's see what Mars is up to.
Right.
He's kind of like tailing the field, cleaning up stragglers, you know, it's like, let's see what we need to work on back here.
He does it on the back end.
Yeah. Yes. He's gonna be in Pisces all month. Significant conjunctions. May 20th. Yeah, North Node. And then May 29th, Chiron. So he's got a North Node Chiron dance there at the end of the month.
And we already talked about that Mars Chiron.
Yeah.
Energy, pretty much.
Yeah, it's going to be the same day that Mercury and what Uranus, are going to be hanging out together. Take some actions to cross that bridge.
Yep.
The spiritual bridge, right? Because Pisces, like, take aligned spiritual action.
Interdimensional.
Yeah. Definitely. And that could be, with Mars, it could be doing some yoga. I mean, it could be something physical. Like maybe you need to move the energy in your meridians. Do some yoga, do some breath work, do whatever you feel is spiritual. Like, what is spiritual to you? Go do some of that.
Maybe, and again, it has to do a lot with that Mercury. So maybe you've been thinking to yourself, like, you know, I am worthy of this, right? And
affirmations.
Or, you know, maybe higher quality outfits, or, you know, like spending time on your beauty care or whatever it is. And then when Mars is there, it's like, okay, now take the action, you know, do the thing. Do the thing.
Can you make your day
you're worthy of doing?
Yeah, can you make your day more like a walking meditation? Like everything is spiritual when you, get down to it. Is like, it's the Chinese proverb, like, make rice sweep floor. Oh, wait, there's enlightenment. Okay, still got to make rice and sweep floor.
Yeah.
It's all part of the enlightenment.
Exactly.
Everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
Nothing feels like a chore anymore when you're just happy to be here.
Exactly.
So look for the spiritual in all the things you do. And can you, I think that's the biggest thing with Uranus and Mercury is like, can you reframe your thought processes to have that understanding, to literally be walking in magic, like, is to realize that you are. And if your day-to-day doesn't look like that, well, make some dang changes.
Yeah. It's like you're already doing it. You might as well be seeing it that way too.
Yeah.
As like the flip side is believing is seeing. So it's like once you believe that, once your perception has accepted it, it's everywhere.
Yeah. And if you don't like your reality, like the Mars and Pisces conjunct Chiron, if you don't like that reality, then A, make a change. B, figure out why it's showing up like that in the first place. Why is it manifesting? How have all my decisions led to this? You know, some of it's about accountability, but it's also like, I also at any moment can make a change to go in a direction that feels more aligned with my soul. Do that thing.
Exactly.
Whatever that is. Or make a plan to do that thing. Like take the action steps, make the flow chart, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then start taking aligned action. Because some of the things you don't want to do all of a sudden, like, I don't like my job. It's probably not smart to just go quit the next day unless you've really had it. You know, start making an exit strategy.
Exactly.
Start looking for
out there for something else.
Exactly.
Stockpiling your resources.
Yep.
Writing that letter.
Writing that letter. Writing those resumes. Start doing the things. And that's one example. It can be anything spiritual. Maybe you just want to spend more time, I don't know, meditating or whatever that looks like.
Or maybe you want, not even making a resume. Maybe you're deciding, like, I'm done with that type of work. I have enough money saved to, you know, buy a little plot of land. I'm going to grow what I need to eat and I'll trade what I can't. And
different
you
lifestyle.
live your life the way that you want to live it.
maybe I'm gonna go travel across Europe and hang out in a monastery for 6 months and see where it shakes out. You never know. Uranus can shake stuff up like that. Like,
so true.
You may have that mental thought, Uranus, Mercury. I know we're talking about Mars, but like these two other guys are in play over here. You may have those thoughts where it's like, yeah, this time for change, and it's now.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it, selling all my shit. Off we go.
Yep.
Can happen.
Definitely.
Uranus can have that effect on people. And it usually leads to a great big awesome adventure, and you jump like 50,000 timelines and it lands you exactly where you need to be. So have fun with that.
Yep.
So cross that bridge, Mars, cross that bridge. Take those steps. Let's see what Mars is doing. Oh, yes. Look at that. May 4th, Difta in Cetus.
Oh, that's the May the 4th be with you day.
May the 4th be. Something else was on May the 4th and with the sun, I think. I'm gonna make a note. May the 4th. Check that. Get down. Nope. That feels intense. Difta's intense. What did I say? Moon conjunct Mars here. Oh, yeah. Oops. That's going to be some deep emotional. I mean, that's like galactic. That stuff's coming from galactic places. Mysterious, watery, emotional stuff, hybridization, trauma. Like, you got to dive so deep into the abyss. Get in that Marianas Trench. Especially with the moon, like that timing. When I saw that, I was like, oh, look, Mars is going to be conjunct Difta. I was like, oh shit, the moon is going to cross that the same day. I'm like, whoo. That feels like I don't know. It's like put your life preserver on kind of day. It's funny because I was just in Tennessee at one of those TVA dams. They have a bunch of waterfalls, but that's what it feels like is like when the sirens go off that they're releasing water from the dam, get out of the gorge.
Yeah, get out of the way.
Here comes the water, get to moving. That's so funny.
Yeah, there can be a lot of deep emotional programs about the masculine that come up. So what masculine energy is, how it materializes in your reality, how you interact with it. Also, whether masculine energy is demonized.
Yeah. How is that demonized? How are those emotions?
It's like
I don't want to say
towards the masculine that it is part of the thing that's playing out as a play of the demonized feminine.
Yeah, what I'm trying to think about how to frame this is like, how are the emotions making you make choices? Because the emotions aren't choosing the thing. Like, you're making the choices, but the emotion is driving the choice. And it's coming from a very, 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 very deep place. Yeah. So, where is that? Where is it coming from? And what are those choices coming from that very deep subconscious place? Probably a galactic template. It could be a lifetime. With Cetus, it can be things that just don't compute to your human brain. It can be a lifetime as a different star being race that maybe it's like a hive mind, or maybe they went down AI hybridization timelines, and it can be things that you just don't know how to wrap your head around it, but it's driving the things that you do. And I'm serious. This for me is where motion code and body code just pinpoints it like a laser, and it's like, it's there. And it's a lifetime from Centaurus, and it was a hive mind collective, and that's why you feel abandonment wounding. Oh my God, that makes so much sense. You don't know how to be by yourself because you've never had to think, right? Like, so that can be part of your lesson, is to be an individuated soul, and what the difference is to extricate yourself from a not so healthy hive mind collective. So it can be weird stuff like that, y'all. Seriously, like the Cetus level stuff is no joke in how it's shaping the choices that you make.
Yeah. Yeah, really great time to do a deep dive on your impulses. So any sort of impulsive behavior that you have, maybe when you get stressed, you have a cigarette or a drink, or maybe when you get upset at someone, your initial reaction is to try to hurt them, or say mean things, whatever it is. So really
Yeah.
great time to work through that.
Yeah. Impulses is a great descriptor for sure. Like not conscious chosen thoughts. It's just like the instinct to do whatever. And you got to be like, oh, nope. I'm going to think about that first. I'm gonna decide if I really want to do that or not.
Exactly.
So yeah, watch
Insert
that
some
around that day.
pause here.
Yeah, take a breath.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Okay, so that's May 4th. So may the 4th be with you.
The 4th be with you on that day, y'all. Yeah, for sure.
May 12th, Algenib and Pegasus. That feels so much lighter, like up there in those
does.
higher galactic templates. Look how far down we had to go, all the way down to Diftus, so we could go weave back up to Algenib and Pegasus to recode those templates at a galactic level. And then May 19th, Alpheratz and Andromeda, and May 29th, Saturata and Andromeda. So then he starts getting moving through some of those nice Andromeda higher vibey energies. Doesn't quite make it to Andromeda Galaxy. That'll be in June. So we have that to look forward to. That'll be fun. Anytime a planet or luminary crosses Andromeda Galaxy, I'm always like, party day. Go get your Andromeda codes. Chop, chop. So that'll be in June for Mars, Mr. Mars. But it does feel intense at the beginning of the month, and it does feel lighter towards the end. So, except May 29th is Chiron. Use that to your advantage. Use that conjunction, Mars conjunct Chiron, to your advantage. I think we've talked about that plenty with those Mercury, Uranus, Mars, Chiron.
I agree.
I think you can really work that angle. Right on. Anything else you want to add for Mars?
I think we're good to talk about Jupiter and Saturn.
Let's talk about Jupiter. Always a fun time with Jupiter.
Oh, love Jupiter.
Jupiter and Taurus is just one big Earth party. Yay. Party on planet Earth. How long is Jupiter and Taurus? Like, it's over a year, I think.
Yeah.
I know I looked this up, but I can't remember the exact dates. But Jupiter will be in Taurus for a while. Uranus will be in Taurus for, a long time. Like 2040? Don't quote me on that. I looked that up too, and now I can't remember because I don't have it sitting in front of me. But so we have a little over a year to party with Jupiter and Taurus. Start taking advantage of it. Start growing your Earth empire. Did we lose Sachi? Sachi, are you there? Uh-oh.
Sorry, I muted myself. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought you dropped off. I was like, dang
no.
it.
I stepped away for a second.
Okay, we were having tech issues earlier, so I just wanted to make sure.
I can feel that Mercury is out of retrograde.
Oh, you heard it here, folks. Yay.
It goes.
That's so amazing. It's like you can just feel that stuff. And we're done.
Okay, sorry. So Jupiter on conjunction.
Let's see. Conjunctions May 18th, Sun. We kind of talked about that in the Sun section. That feels yummy.
Yes, it does.
May 23rd, Venus. That feels yummy as well.
Loving it.
Yeah, those are going to be fun transits there. Significant fixed star alignments for Jupiter. May 10th, Algol. Wah, wah.
Yeah, that can definitely cause all the Algol stuff on this day. It might kind of blow out of proportion, I would say.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of it. And if things start to, just get too much, take a step back, do the inner work. Don't let external whatever try to blow things out of proportion.
Yeah, it depends on which side of the fence you're on with Jupiter, like how you work with the Jupiter octaves of energy. I feel like the low vibey stuff is sort of beliefs, limiting beliefs, or being really dogmatic, in ways where you feel like you're bigger than the guy next to you, kind of like religious beliefs can be an example of this, where it's like the self-righteousness. That's kind of a low octave of Jupiter stuff. So I would watch those kinds of things around an Algol transit, like where you might feel a little bit holier than thou, or what
on your high horse.
Like check yourself on that day and just be like, is that true? Is that true? Of course, people with really ingrained belief systems don't question their beliefs, so therein lies the problem with that. But just watch if that manifests around you, navigate it with the high vibe of Jupiter. Jupiter will have fun doing whatever Jupiter's doing. So just have a laugh, be like, hey, I got you. And just move along. Right.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna be watching that alignment with curiosity for sure. Because for both of us, really, that's opposite our suns. Yeah. Jupiter's gonna be opposite our suns there. So in certain situations like that, it's like, ooh, I wonder how that will show up. That could be spicy. Or if you're in alignment, if you've been through all the Algol stuff, like it could be really cool. So we shall see. The other significant fixed star alignment is May 27th. The Pleiades. I like this, just Jupiter here.
Yeah.
So good. So fun. It feels like light and ethereal, but also like earthy and grounded. My brain needs to be grounded. That feels fun.
Yes.
So I feel like Jupiter is really working both ends of the spectrum this month.
Yeah. That sounds like Jupiter.
Yeah. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a whole lot of the other. Yeah. Yeah, the toughest thing I think is going to be the Algol transit.
For sure.
Yeah. The rest of it actually feels pretty nice. Go have a good frolic.
Have
some fun outdoors. Yeah. Or in the kitchen or wherever you find enjoyment.
Yep. Could also be grid work, which we've talked about, Jupiter and Taurus.
Yeah, last month, April.
Certain places.
Yeah, for sure. Check out April transits the Jupiter section if you want more details on that, because I do feel like grid work could be a thing for some folks. Or you may not know it's grid work. It just may feel like a call to travel. Go with it. Yep.
Ready for Saturn?
Let's talk about Saturn. Saturn's moving into the Aquarius Pisces void in May. Wow, she's making moves. May 10th. Or wait, is that 10th? No, that's May 11th. Yeah, May 11th. May 11th. It's going to be really, I think it'll be, Saturn's going to be really important to watch when she goes into Pisces. Like, it's going to be like watching a telenovela mini series. What's going to happen next?
That's funny.
So she's starting to move into that void space, which the Aquarius Pisces void space is not a huge void space, so it's not really going to take her all that long.
It's so weird
transit through there.
Phoebe keeps coming up.
What keeps coming up?
Phoebe. Sometimes it happens on this app.
Saturn's moon.
Yeah, one of the moons.
One of Saturn's moons.
Okay, yeah, you can see.
She's got a lot of
lots of moons. Okay, yeah. But yeah, Phoebe sometimes just like randomly pops up and then is just there. Anyway.
So she's starting to make a energy shift out of Aquarius. Let's see. Conjunctions. May 3rd, moon. Oh, we have 2 Saturn moon matrix days in May.
Mm-hmm.
One at the beginning of the month, one at the very end of the month on the 31st. So May 3rd, May 31st.
Mm-hmm.
If you had any doubt that we have lunar stuff to work on this month.
There it is.
There it is.
53 is the number. 53531.
Get her done.
Mm-hmm.
No significant fixed star alignments this month for Saturn. And I'm okay with that. She's coming off an alignment with Anka. Yeah, I think she's coming off an alignment with Anka. Not sure when she retrogrades next. She might cross back over that when she retrogrades, but we shall see. Won't happen in June, or won't happen in May.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to hear more about Saturn in Aquarius, we got lots of info on episode 3, I believe.
I think so. I think so. That's our first transit episode 3. Yeah.
We will definitely do more as it moves closer to Pisces of that shift of energy. But this is just right on the edge, so it's still very Aquarian.
Yep. Moving on out.
Mm-hmm.
Outward and upward.
All right. So ready for Chiron and Uranus?
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. Asteroid Chiron in Pisces all month, as Chiron has been for many months now.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly cruising along. May 6th, conjunct Mercury and Moon on the same day. The Moon transits, it moves so fast. It's just going to be like Mercury and Chiron will be conjunct, and the Moon will go over it. Mm-hmm. So it'll be like a pop. Bong.
Mm-hmm. That's on the 6th.
Yeah, that's an interesting energy combo.
That is a lot of emotional, all the stuff that we talked about with Chiron and Mercury about healing the way that you think and talk and speak and all of that. When the Moon comes through, it's going to be like, okay, how am I influencing the way that I'm talking about myself, about the world? It's like if you're always saying, well, I guess even right, and there's no such thing as saying something as a joke. So rather than giving a bad example, let me give a good example. Wow, the world is such a fair place, and I am just so happy about the way things are happening or something, and then you will notice that more fair situations tend to find you, that the world becomes a happier place. It's the energy you project outwards is going to be reflected back to you. So you want to make sure that you're feeling and affirming, and your words have to match your feelings too. So you can't just say like, wow, I feel like a billionaire, but emotionally you feel in lack. You have to make sure that your thoughts and words are aligning with your emotions.
Yeah, there's no fake it till you make it with that.
Yeah.
It's like, just be honest with you. If you feel sad about something, go emote. Go let it out of the box and do some tapping and regulate your your body, right? Your electrical system.
Mm-hmm.
To help the body release the emotion, and then you actually will feel good, and then you will walk around and go, oh, everything is nice and rainbows and sunshine, and I can move through life with this optimistic point of view, because I really feel that way.
Because most of it is like, I deserve to feel happy, and that's where the sadness can come from, because you've been through experiences, likely because you've consented to interacting with people, places, or things that have brought you sadness. And it's like, you know that you deserve better. So it's like, I deserve happiness. And so by accepting that you actually do deserve happiness, the unhappiness, the sadness is going to arise in the emotional body in order to be released. And then once it's released, then there's room for that happiness.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, and part of that, again, with the Mercury Chiron stuff, later Mars and Chiron anchors in. It's like, okay, I'm no longer going to surround myself with these individuals. I'm no longer going to go to this place that makes me feel, you know, small, or that I have to hide my light, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, you take that spiritual action step to get more in alignment with your true, excuse me, your true self. Yep. Yeah, it does feel like the 6th is going to be like, let's percolate that up. And then Mars on the 29th is going to be like, okay, just checking in, make sure you're walking the walk.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. Chiron, significant fixed star alignments, May 29th, Saturada in Andromeda. So some Andromeda coding.
All right.
Through an alignment with that fixed star. Yeah. That is it.
Yep.
So that'll also be the same day that Pisces, Chiron is conjunct Mars. Chiron conjunct Mars and aligned with Saturn and Andromeda. So trying to spiral up there, it feels like.
Yeah.
That's some high octane juju right there. That's a big spiral. Like, if you can make that leap, go for it. That's a big attunement, I guess you could say.
Oh, before we move to Uranus, I want to kind of go a little bit backwards, back to Saturn, kind of. I see in the chat we have Holistic Soul asked, hi ladies, I'm curious with the myths connected to Saturn and other such planets, and the barbaric traumatic stories / energy connected to certain myths and planets be included in our birth charts. This is a really great question, and when we reach other seasons, we actually plan on doing episodes per planet, so that we can go deeper into the mythological history from multiple perspectives, not just the Greco-Roman perspective, which is the most common, or even the Vedic perspective. So we will definitely be talking about Saturn. I mean, Saturn has so much ish around it, so keep an eye out for that episode in the future when we do our planets. But in general, I think like the myths of these things, it's good to be aware of them, because sometimes it highlights some of the like trauma code that may be running in the background, or collective belief system things. But it certainly is not the template you use to, actuate your highest self.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
And that's why we do what we do here.
Yeah.
We're sharing the information, and we're also actively recoding, and that's our part of our mission.
Yeah.
Is to recode it. And we'll do that together.
Yeah, because like you said, a lot of the mythology holds overlays. You can glean information from the mythology, but when you look at all mythology, it all has these distorted victim templates and all this stuff running in it, where it's like, God, it must have been a shit show. But a lot of it's metaphor, and you got to remember that. And like Sachi said, we'll dive into that more specifically in a Saturn episode, because Saturn is a hot topic.
Yes, definitely. All right. I just wanted to mention, I meant to mention that before when we were on Saturn. But I wanted to make sure that we touch upon that a little bit.
Yeah, it's that good to go back and fit that in there for sure. So, did we finish? We finished with Chiron. Yes. Chiron, we're finished with you.
Oh,
love you.
yeah.
And it's interesting because that's an interesting connector nugget that Chiron orbits Saturn and Uranus. I feel like that's an interesting archetype.
That is.
We'll also dive into that too, in an episode. But let's talk about Uranus.
Yes, let's.
Uranus and Taurus. Yay, loving this. All the feels, all the sort of the body. It's like body technology. It's like the undercurrent of, I don't know. It's somatic, but it's also electric, the way I understand this archetype. So in Taurus, it does feel like that there's some serious juju that wants to come through the body to be conduited to land in this realm. Amazing. Shift that earth.
It's organic tech. So like rather than, a company try to create like, oh, how can we, create something that captures carbon and, emits oxygen. It's like literally it already does that. Instead of doing that, right, creating some sort of synthetic photosynthetic mechanism, it would be like, okay, how about we utilize technology to protect trees and plants and preserve our planet and help them grow, having a plant a tree program sort of thing.
Live in a balanced ecosystem, foster balanced ecosystems, quit farming with these monocrop practices.
Right, exactly. Like let's pay attention to soil quality, which is literally everything, our entire foundation of the whole planet, of the nutrient density comes from the soil quality. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Quit pillaging the soil with terrible farming practices.
Exactly.
Yeah. It needs to get more local.
And increase our composting. Stop
totally
taking organic matter and putting it in a garbage dump and then spraying it with chemicals so that it doesn't decay. It's just
I think garbage dumps. Yeah, garbage. Plastic needs to be revised.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh,
especially because we have so many biodegradable plastics now, but big plastic,
doesn't want to let go.
That's exactly what it is. It's big plastic, which of course is, connected to the petroleum industry and all that.
There it is.
It's
always a byproduct of something else, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So just get cleaner, get greener. Let's make that change. It's so funny when you were saying that. It's like, why do we need to invent that thing? They've existed for millions of years. They're called trees.
Exactly. And they've done it for such a long time. It's like trees and even just regular plants. It doesn't necessarily have to be a tree, but trees are the biggest carbon captors. But it's like, all the technology is already here. Study the natural world. Help it thrive, dance with the cycles of nature.
Yeah, act like you live here, for goodness sakes. Quit crapping on our planet.
Exactly. Or even like when what is now USA, I recently learned this within the past couple years that I think it was the Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken, but they literally moved the Mississippi River. And that's why there's like flooding in a lot of places now, is because the river's trying to go back to where it was. Like, who in the world thought it was a good idea to try to move a giant river? insane.
Humans
it's like,
with weird ideas.
Yeah, it's like, why go against nature when it's so easy to live in harmony with it?
It's much easier to work with nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was some of the conversations I was having with the earth this week. I was like, there's got to be an easier way. Like,
yep.
What's it going to take? What's it going to take, earth?
Mm-hmm.
For us to, it was like, I see this using water to make electricity. Like, I get it. Like, there's better ways to do this that's not so, I don't know. Even that place was so weird, though. It just felt like a whole other planet. I was like, Anyway, yeah, go travel, go look at some things. You'll have those combos too. You'll be like, okay, how are we gonna make some changes here?
I like what you said. Go greener, go cleaner. That's very Uranus and Taurus when it comes to like our technology, the way we're interacting with groups. And it's a really great time also to find a community who has the same, beliefs. And maybe you can't do everything at once, right? Change happens with small, purposeful steps. So maybe you start with the quality of your water. Maybe your neighborhood, maybe you live in a cul-de-sac. Like, hey, how can we get together and get whatever for our cul-de-sac for our water?
Yeah.
Or
because maybe Uranus would have a community component or social circles, like definitely. Networking with people. Like, it can start with like just community join a gardening group. Community garden and see where that goes.
Trading group,
co-ops.
Or
join a co-op.
Like, hey, I have this book I don't need. Does someone want to trade it for a pair of shoes they're not using?
Exactly.
Reduce waste.
Start filling your that's not the right way to say that. Start surrounding yourself with people that are kind of working on that, because like it will foster that shift faster. Like when there's that spark of like, oh my gosh, look, there's 10 of us now, there's 20 of us now, there's 100 of us, and now we're a whole continent. And movements happen like that.
Exactly. And it sometimes, people are hesitant to make a change because it feels like work, right? It feels like, oh, I have to do this and then this and then this. But when you're in a group of like-minded individuals, you really don't have to do that much. Everyone does a very small part, and sometimes certain people can't do any parts, right? And that's okay. That's just part of how community works. So, whether it's a food program, clothing program, maybe it's literally connecting to the earth and going into the forest together and learning how to forage, or just learning about different plants and what they do. It's a real great time to find a group.
It could be weirder than that too. Like, I think I mentioned this in the other episode. It could be like, oh my gosh, I know I'm a portal keeper on this planet and I know where my portal is now. And you might just pick up and move across the country because like you just felt the call, you heard the call kind of thing. It can be stuff like that, or it can be as simple as I want to find raw milk or cleaner water, or how can I get fluoridation out of my water? Like whatever whatever your peeve is about something, that's where you can make a shift, because Uranus wants to flip that on its head. That thing that you don't like, go be the change you want to see in the world. That's Uranus.
Yep, exactly.
So go do those things. Good times. Let's see. Conjunctions. May, was that 13th? Yeah, Sun. Uranus will be conjunct Sun. We kind of talked about that. That feels high voltage.
Yeah.
Some a lot of octane. Yes. I like that. May 18th, Venus. Also like that one.
Amazing.
Yes.
That's
lighten up.
Weird love. Or
that's
Dr.
a weird love.
Actually, I don't know what Dr. Strangelove is, so maybe not a good quote, but that's what's coming to mind.
That's so funny. I like it. Yeah, that's another very electric, but all in the body like, oh wow, is there some juju run? Like, I can remember, this is just an example of like when I integrated Uranus. Literally, I landed on the planet in a dream. Like, I was astral traveling, obviously, in the dream. I landed on the planet and there was a giant platinum telephone pole, and it was like, you're now running platinum coding, like
Awesome.
that sort of light coding. And you just run it like Venus, Uranus is like, you'll just run that stuff subconsciously. So it could be an opportunity for that to come through that day where you're just online to conduit codes, go put your feet on the ground and go connect to the heart of the earth and just be like, just passing some juju through.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a really fun day with all the feels. On the other side, if you got some sludge in the system, you might feel that too. So yes, that's the 18th. May 31st, Mercury, Uranus, Mercury. Whew.
Right at the tail end.
Yep.
But the beginning, of course.
Yep. Interesting shift. And that was the same day Mars and Chiron were conjunct. So
yeah, this is like a great day. It feels like to have a whiteboard and put all your ideas up there, even as outlandish as they may be, even if the tech doesn't exist yet or you don't have the information. This is a great day to brainstorm inventions and innovations and really think way, way, way outside the box.
Yeah, let that super genius out. Let it be weird.
Yeah.
Like judgment, right? Like, get that whiteboard and just whatever weirdness wants to show up, write it down. Now, on the flip side, the lower octave of that, like, it could be invasive thought forms. So if that's the side that comes up, you guys know what to do with the alchemy. Be like, hey, who are you? What are you doing here? How'd you get in? Yeah, how'd you get in there?
Yeah.
Let me put you on hold and figure out where you're coming from.
And then
and yeah, basically evict that nonsense out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it could feel like the phone lines need to be cleared as well.
Yeah.
Either or, but it could be radical thinking. Could be a radical thinking kind of day. So see where you shake out on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool stuff. No significant fixed star alignments for Uranus in May.
So that brings us to, you feel good about Chiron and Uranus?
Always.
All right. Now we're going to Neptune and Pluto.
See you on Neptune, yo. Bye. Neptune in Pisces. He's so happy in Pisces. I like him in Pisces.
Me too. He's at home there.
He's at home there. He's kind of having a homebody month. Like, he's at home there and he's not coming to the door. No conjunctions, no significant fixed star alignments. He is having a chill month, and I will take it.
Holding that vibe, yeah.
Holding the vibe in Pisces. I will take it with all this other stuff. So that feels pretty chill. I mean, as chill as Neptune and Pisces.
Yeah. It's just like a monk that's meditating. Just like, yep.
Just percolating. Just percolate on that. Make some rice, sweep the floor.
Yep.
Just cruise. Just cruise.
Uh-huh.
All right. Pluto. He's in the Sag Cap void. Pluto is going to go retrograde in May. Yep. First of the retrograde party of 2024. Well, Mercury already did have. Yeah. Mercury goes retrograde like every other freaking week.
Technically like 3 or 4 times a year, but Mercury's retrograde, like, marches to the Mercury retrogrades to the beat of his own drum. The rest of them kind of, they sing a song together in terms of retrograde motion.
Yeah, I was only kidding. It just feels like Mercury's in retrograde every other week. He is a little jumpy feller.
Yes, he is.
Pluto, on the other hand, yeah, he's a slower mover. The funny thing is he, at the end of April, just made an alignment with Altair. in Aquila constellation. Just barely got past it. Just barely by like a tenth. It's in the tenths, like in the, not even a degree, like minutes. And then he retrogrades and backs up straight towards it. Like, you joker.
More Altair stuff, which Pluto and Altair alignment, if you saw our special episode, which I think was 13 or 14, special topic episode 14.
Yeah, I think it's 14.
That was our US Pluto return episode, which is just jam-packed with amazing information about America's Pluto return. And so Pluto, or America's actually having multiple Pluto returns because of the retrograde motion. There will be 3, I believe, in total, right?
Yeah, he'll back up over it and go for. I think he does retrograde back over it twice.
Okay.
And it takes him. Return. Yeah, it takes him like 2 years to get beyond transiting, or not transiting, making alignments with Altair. Pretty sure it's like 2 years. So we're well in the throes of it this year for the U.S. Pluto return, the energy associated with the U.S. Pluto return, because it's so associated with that eagle archetype. This is the first retrograde calibration. Big girl panties on.
Exactly.
Yeah, we will see how this goes. Well, hopefully it just means we're evicting like astral planes, watcher shenanigans, and all that
getting
stuff.
Rid of the surveillance state.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's going to be major evictions going on in the astrals, which will trickle down into a different way that the country functions, kind of thing. Spyware, be gone.
Yes, exactly.
Cameras on every street corner. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Not on this timeline.
Not on this timeline, babies. So it all comes from a higher up emanation, and sometimes these, countries being founded are done at very strategic time space locations with specific alignments with ulterior motives.
Or ulterior motives.
Ulterior motives. So let's stay on the high vibe of that, please.
Definitely.
And thank you.
I love high vibe Altair.
Me too. Oh yeah, totally.
I love it.
But it also means that probably a lot of the cleanup work is out in the astrals. Like, you gotta go clean up all that bullshit that's probably locked in from them declaring their quote unquote independence.
All the bird poop
stuff. All the bird poop that trickles down to the 3D.
Yeah. It's like broken avian lineages too.
Yeah, that's true too. Cleaning up those maybe like golden eagle grid stuff on the Earth, probably tied into that. And things like that. Other avian, maybe, right, because the eagle is connected with Scorpio too.
Yes, it is.
So it's an emanation of Scorpio. We'll talk about that in the next episode. I won't dive into that because I want you to go into that in depth. Okay. So stations retrograde on May 1st and goes retrograde on the 3rd. So usually most software will sort of average those two, and it will say Pluto's in retrograde on the 2nd. Stationing is actually 2 days. It's like the planet stations for 2 days and then physically starts, or not physically, looks like it starts to move backwards. Yeah. From our point of view on Earth. So there will be 2 days of it looking like it's standing still. So officially in the chugga retrograde motion on the 3rd. No conjunctions, but like it basically got right past Altair and then is backing up. So it will be aligned with Altair from the 1st through the 3rd, the whole time it's stationed. So tell me that's not a major recode. Jeez, yeah.
It's some big stuff. Highly recommend that you listen to episode 14 because that goes into so much info on it. And even in our 3rd episode, our first transit episode, there's also a lot of Pluto info there too.
Yeah. And I don't get super weird about protection rituals or anything like that, but the 1st through the 3rd would probably be a good time to make some statements about negative remote viewing is not okay with me and it's not allowed in my space, and just take the opportunity while he's stationed at Altair, where you just call out the bullshit and you be like, that's got to go. Some folks are not plagued by that. They've cleared through that, or it's just not in their soul blueprint for, like, they don't have to deal with it. One of the ways you might know is like weird ass dreams where people are watching you in your dreams. That's usually your body's way of translating you're being remote viewed from another dimension. So if you do have those kinds of dreams, make that statement of intention, like, this is not okay with me. Higher self, how do we evict this out of my system? Thank you. Where's it coming from? What do I need to know? How do we clear this? So that might be a good statement. And just, you know, hey, you guys, I'm coming for you. If you can see me, I can see you too.
Yeah. Flip it.
That's right.
Thing now, flip it and reverse it.
That's what it's all about. And then close that portal. Because, you know, you don't need to see what they're doing because they're up to no good. Like, you don't really even need to be connected to that. But it's just sometimes you need to rewire the thought process in your head. Oh, yeah, if you can see me, that means I can see. I recently had a dream like that. And I was like, oh, they see me. It's like, oh, wait, no, it's that now I see them. That means I'm getting to the end of this bullshit.
Good.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for deep and mysterious dreams. Pluto can be some real weird, intense subconscious stuff. So it would definitely percolate up through dreams. Interesting times with that one.
Definitely.
Doing serious recode there. All right. Feel good about that?
All right.
Let's talk about the nodes.
South node, which are you able to pull up your software?
No, I'm on the iPad, but you can pull up the one of the moon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The moon ones, and we'll just look at it on there because they don't move that fast.
We'll just do the new one. Oh,
okay. I'll just go ahead and start.
Okay.
Reading off the thing. North Node in Pisces. Been there for quite a while. Not leaving anytime soon. Conjunct Mars on the 20th of May. Take aligned action steps towards your life path. Significant fixed star alignments, May 24th, Alpha Rats. In Andromeda, that's like the star that is shared between Andromeda and Pegasus, so it does feel like some hello brain, transducing things from Andromeda coding into usable sort of galactic level templates. Feels like galactic template work for all those galactic recoders. That feels pertinent for you guys, or just blood lineage recoders, those kind of jobs, soul jobs. And that's about all North Node's doing. It's still saying dive into that spiritual path. Dive into your spiritual path. Get into that Pisces energy.
Get in alignment with your own soul.
Yeah. Get out there in those dimensions and do some things. What does that look like for you? And the South Node is still hanging out in Virgo. Just cruising. It's going to be there for quite a while longer. Virgo's so big. got some intense stuff going on with the south node. Like the south node was in the yod for the new moon. I think it was the new moon.
Yes.
So it is, the south node is at the apex of a yod for the new moon, and May 5th, the new moon is the 8th. So May 5th, on the lead up to the new moon.
Well, I think it's actually on the 7th. That's what it was on.
Oh, it's like overnight. So for some time zones, it's the 7th. For some time zones, it's the 8th. I keep like mixing it up in my head. Eastern Standard Time, it's like 11:22 on the 7th. So not that far from the 8th. Yeah, May 5th is South Node's conjunct Black Moon Lilith in retrograde. Oof, that's right. Yeah. So we've got that to look forward to in the lead up to the new moon. It's like, let's squeeze a little bit of this out before we get to the new moon, so you don't have to work so hard during the whole next lunar cycle. Really, it feels like it may be trying to help you out, but still might not be fun. And then on the 30th, it gets us again, kind of like the Saturn moon matrix, how there's 2 Saturn moon matrix days in May. There's also 2 of these going on. Yeah. The second one on the 30th, Black Moon Lilith is direct, though. So, not that much more helpful, but
still just very intense. A lot of divine feminine, the dark divine feminine, or dark feminine energy coming to surface. A lot of rage, anger, vengeance things. And again, a lot of these, because it's South Node, can be past life things that are coming to the surface, and the way that they manifest, in real time can be, you can be like, what's going on here? Like, why is this happening? What is this? And so, probably have to do a little bit of deep digging on that.
Yeah, so interesting too. Virgo at a low octave can be very self-deprecating. So the Mercury conjunctions, like Mercury, Uranus, is like, reframe that. Are you talking negative? Is there negative self-talk? Reframe that. It's coming from a past life. You got to look at the fact that the South Node is usually coming from a different lifetime. And it's, with this Black Moon Lilith, Virgo South Node, it's like it's jacking up the angelic templates. Go clean house. Yeah. Go clean that out of the South Node. Go get in the Akashic if you got to. Yeah. Go do the thing. I mean, Virgo's not necessarily about the Akashic, but if it's South Node, it's relevant to go look at a past life through an Akashic thing. But it can also be just, better habits, patterns, and routines. Make some changes to things that you're doing on the day-to-day.
Definitely.
But you're right, can be a lot of emotional processing. I feel like too, Black Moon Lilith, there's a lot of bloodline curses that need to be addressed. A lot of lunar matrix overlays, false feminine overlays. Moon is a false luminary. It only reflects light, so it's part of that reversal matrix stuff. So it feels like a big cleanup job coming from a past life with those 2 transits. And then significant fixed star alignments on the 14th, Aldebaran and Draco. That will be very juicy.
Dragons everywhere.
Yeah, that's that middle of the dragon.
Dense energy.
Yes, right in the middle of, that S curve that is the dragon. It's the one in the center. So I consider it a portal of sorts. A dragon portal. So, and it's right in the middle of the month. And it's, I don't really have a read on this star as far as energy. It's like, just feel into it. Could be high vibe. It's not Thuban. Thuban is notoriously tough and challenging. This may have like opportunities to go on the up spiral. It could be high vibe dragon energy. It's a portal, right? It's in the center of the dragon. So how do you want to play it? Basically. South Node, maybe accessing past life dragon skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
That could be interesting. Or if it's distorted dragon energy, could still be like get into the Akashic and clean that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
South Node's not necessarily always low vibe. I mean, there's usually some kind of karmic
gifts are there. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's like if you're born with a great singing voice, right? That can be a past life thing because one of your past lives you studied as a singer and figured out how to use your vocal cords, and now you're born just with that intuitive knowing. That's totally a South Node thing. Or maybe you're really good at math. Maybe you're a human calculator or something like that. You don't want to reject all your South Node stuff.
Right.
It's more reconciling the karmic gunks while keeping the karmic gifts.
Yeah, utilizing the gifts and then translating that across the chart to the North Node.
Right.
Integrate the thing, go across the chart to the other side and get out of the lunar matrix. Like it's about integrating the pair to exit the matrix. I think somebody asked us this question and I screenshotted it. We will address that question in the next episode. If that's the question I'm thinking of. But there's definitely, somebody was saying, do you necessarily even want to work with the nodes? Don't you just want to get beyond that? And it's like, well, yeah, but first you got to integrate the thing and then push through on the other side, because some of it's going to be timed with other transits, like maybe a Chiron return, these kinds of, there's a window of time where you have a South Node karmic release from 48 to 52. So it is about exiting all that stuff and
well, it's
moving out of the karmic imprint of your chart.
It's also part of, because it's part of the moon matrix, that's how you can tell, right? It's like the South Node stuff, your emotions are usually pretty comfortable, right? Even if it's like karmic gunk of chaos, it's usually the normalcy. So your emotional body is programmed at its base state to accept whatever that is, of like, oh, chaos is happening. Okay, that's my normal. Maybe it's relationships, maybe it's family, whatever. But with North Node, there is that level of uncomfortability because you're expanding your consciousness through your North Node, because you're moving out and moving through emotions that are uncomfortable to experience things that you've never experienced in any lifetime.
Yeah, I look at North Node,
the emotional body in the moon is still important, even though the moon is what it is.
Yeah, it needs to be integrated and well, that's a bigger conversation with the moon. We'll leave that there. But
we'll do an episode on the nodes. But that's a great question.
Yeah, the nodes. It's definitely to integrate both sides of it to move beyond it. You have to integrate the pair to move beyond that lunar matrix stuff. And you're right. You will feel uncomfortable in your North Node because there's growth there. It's like something you haven't done before. You just keep on trying. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. Which is a funny way to think about the nodes. 2 wheels on a bicycle.
Yeah.
Once you get your balance, you move a lot faster.
Exactly.
Right on through it. So that'll be a juicy alignment with Aldebaran and Draco, because it feels like you've either got a skill set to integrate, like a dragon level creator being skill set to integrate, or you've got some karma to clean out of the records and then go across the chart to the North Node. Because you don't, like you said, can be a comfort zone. You don't necessarily want to stay in the South Node. You want to go across the chart. So what you taking across the chart? A clean slate, or are you taking some cool skill set that comes in to integrate? Maybe a little bit of both. With the North Node in Pisces, it's going to be a spiritual level up. Whatever it is, whether it's a purge or an integration, is going to yield a spiritual level up. So go ride the dragon.
Definitely.
Good times with the nodes. All right. How you feeling about May in general? I feel like it's gonna be
pretty good.
Yeah, it has these interesting crescendos.
April. Yeah.
Yeah.
It still has a lot going on, but not like April. April was just like power day after power day. It's like,
April's like sticking your finger in a light socket.
Yeah, it was
so much juju. Yeah, this feels like it has little zaps here and there. There's gonna be some zaps, but that Taurus energy is gonna help us ground a little bit more, I think.
Definitely.
Any inklings on power days?
You know those the Venus conjunctions, I'm just really like attracted to them. But honestly, I gotta say probably the most powerful day that's going to be felt by everyone, no matter who they are, even people who don't follow astrology, has to be that Scorpius full moon. I mean, yeah, that thing is going to be intense.
Yeah, I think you're right. Whether you know it or not, people will feel it. So that is an indication of definitely powerful. I think the new moon's powerful, full moon's powerful. And the day, I can't remember what day it was, but the day that Mars, Chiron are conjunct and Mercury, Uranus, for sure.
I think that was,
track. Might be like a 2-day window.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that's like around the 25th. Chiron. Okay, 29th. Ish. Yeah.
Towards the end of the month.
Yeah.
We'll get
29th, 30th.
Okay. So the very end of the month. Oh yeah, there was some other big conjunctions at the end of the month too. Oh, those Aldebaran. All those Aldebaran alignments. Yeah,
Venus,
I'm feeling that. 30th, 31st.
Jupiter with Pleiades alignment, Mercury, Uranus conjunction, and Mars and Chiron.
Yeah. I wonder where asteroid 12P will be. Does it show up on this?
Let's find out.
Let's maybe do a little
there it is.
Too. Look at that. I know it reached perihelion this month in April, so that's the closest approach it makes to the sun.
Orion alignments.
What day is this? That's May. Oh, the 30th. Oh, that's the end of the month. It's in Lepus. Ooh. Oh, might have to do a post on this month. Lepus. There's a very powerful Blu-ray star in Lepus. Nihal. I wonder if it's going to be conjunct Nihal. I'm just going to have to look into that more. So if we scoot through the days, will it show us the path? Yeah.
So that's back. This is backwards.
Okay, let's go all the way
forward.
Back.
Okay.
Let's go all the way back and start at the beginning of the month so we get it. We'll just add a section to this one. Comet 12P section. Just for giggles.
So we started out near Taurus.
Okay, so that's
the asterism.
That's the first of the month, 1st of May. It's already in, what is that constellation? Oh, that's Taurus.
Yeah, this is Taurus.
Okay. So it's kind of exiting Taurus.
Between Eridanus and Taurus. It goes through Eridanus.
Oh, he misses Orion. Look how close he gets to Rigel though. Woo! What day is that? The closest approach to Rigel.
That's the
20th. Okay. Closest of it. Go to the 19th, see if it's further away or closer. Yeah, it's 20th for sure. Ooh, interesting.
And then there's
Lepus.
And yeah, that's the last day. It's in Lepus as we
on the last day of May. Okay, cool. Oh, is it gonna go through Sirius in June? See if it tracks through Sirius. Canis Major. It does go through Canis Major, but not that's gonna be It's gonna be fun. So that'll be in June. Okay. I think in the daily planner for May, that's what the info page is going to be on, is Comet 12P. Good times. Awesome. So I think I was feeling that pretty heavy when it was going through Aries. So I'm like, I don't know where the spiciness is coming from. And then I checked the comment. I'm like, oh, it's in the head of Aries. I'm like, it could be that. All right. So the day to watch on that, I feel, is the 20th. Can you look up Nihal and see?
How do you spell it?
Nihil. I want to see how close it comes to that star. And N as in Nancy.
Oh.
Sorry.
Minal?
No.
Sorry, spell
N as in Nancy.
N-I. Okay.
H-I-L.
There we go.
Oh man, it's gonna be like right on that sucker, isn't it? Okay, so it's at the front part of the bunny. Lepus is a rabbit, in case y'all didn't know.
It looks just like a bunny.
So it's gonna be just about smack on that sucker. Okay.
We do have a question in the chat.
Oh, right on.
Holistic Soul asks, I'm curious what your true sky perspectives about lots of well-known mainstream tropical astrology / Vedic astrology information has on individuals and the collective, i.e., when a channel is called Astrology for the Soul, but it's clearly the soul connected to tropical astrology versus the soul of the true sky astrology / astronomy. Yep, that is a soul caught in the quote-unquote matrix, I would say. You know, it's coming from a perspective, a distorted perspective of a repeating man-made algorithm rather than connecting the soul to the literal star stuff that we're made out of. So in terms of what that does to the collective, obviously it leads people into a false sense of self, a false, just a false everything, right? So most people's entire chart will change. So, imagine thinking of a certain Venus and it's like, oh, this is, what I need in a relationship because I have a, Sagittarius Venus, only come to find out that you don't have that, right? So, especially for those who define themselves so much astrologically, it just really traps the soul in a cage, really, of self-reflection and self-belief. So much so that even when people who follow tropical astrology will be shown the real sky, they will refuse to accept it because their identity is so tied to a false sense of self.
They get all up in that cognitive dissonance. Can't get themselves out. I feel like it's a phase. You'll if not in this lifetime, in another, you'll get it figured out.
Or your kids. Or what does Marty McFly say in Back to the Future? Like, you won't like it, but your kids are gonna love it. So yeah, that is how I would take it.
Yeah. I don't worry about it too much. It's like if certain people are gonna feel called to certain, it's not always about the astrology. Sometimes you work with somebody because you need to connect with them energetically to work with codes. And with tropical astrology, it can just be a stage of the game, just a learning curve thing. So I don't worry about it too much. Like, everybody wakes up eventually. It'll be fine.
Yep.
It may be a little bit karmic. It could be some of that Jupiter belief system stuff where it's like you just, I don't know, you think you know the thing with tropical astrology and you're not looking at the actual sky.
Exactly.
So if you actually take the time to go be curious and look
and
up,
just
literally
look up.
Jupiter's like, go expand your mind, like go look at the
Mm-hmm.
freaking stars, like you will see. I mean, that's how I figured it out. I was like, wait a minute, the tropical I didn't know there was a different kind of astrology. I just was like, astrology says the moon's over here,
right,
and in the sky it's over there. I'm like, wait a minute. And yeah,
that's
people
exactly
figure
what
it
happened
out
to
when
me
they're ready to
too.
figure it out. Yeah,
I started looking up and I'm like, wait a minute, that constellation isn't what astrology is saying.
yeah. I need to do some
And
homework here. That was a wake up
exactly,
call
like
for
I need to look
me.
into this,
Yeah.
right, myself. And people who share the tropical algorithm, whether they believe it or not, they're not doing any good service to humanity. They're doing humanity a disservice by spreading misinformation. And especially, consider the source. Look at the origin of the tropical algorithm and what Ptolemy was doing with the Catholic Church and timeline manipulations during that time. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. All you have to do is go and look. But with society and so many people who just want to be sheep, they don't want to question things. They just want to have the answer handed to them rather than do any research on their own. And tropical astrology is an echo chamber. So you have all these people just, echoing back to each other. Oh, yes. Oh my God, Saturn is in Pisces. It's like, no, it's fucking not. And one with a brain and eyes, would tell you so. It doesn't matter how many times you say it, yet, a lie becomes a truth in a certain way, right? Enough people believe a lie, it is a truth in a certain way. But truth with a capital T still remains in some ways, and the sky don't lie.
The sky don't lie.
That's why we say, just look up for yourself. That's the thing. Don't even believe us. Don't believe us. Go look for yourself.
Exactly. I feel like that long game, the timeline manipulation, like the long game they are playing.
Yeah.
That is definitely some bad juju. Like timeline distortion, attempted timeline distortion. Trying to front load the timelines is basically what that does with tropical astrology. We're going to do a whole episode.
Literally the Catholic Church that controls the tropical algorithm. They're the ones who made the math. They're the ones who have most recently updated the math.
Yeah,
so
we're going
when
to do
your
a whole
soul
episode
is attached to the tropical algorithm, what is siphoning from your soul from that timeline? Yeah, you guessed it.
Yeah, we're going to do a deeper dive on the tropical algorithm, like as a standalone sort of investigative, inquiring minds want to know type thing. But yeah, as far as the timeline distortion goes, that there's some karma attached to that, and I understand like that tactic, but tropical astrology still preserves the stories, so it's not all bad. It's maybe it wasn't ever intended to be so mainstream, and in that way it backfired on them because the more eyes that are on it, somebody's going to figure it out eventually. Like, and that's kind of where we're at. You start looking at the sky, you look at the charts, and you're like, wait a minute, and you start reintegrating the organic timeline back into the matrix kind of stuff. So it can't be distorted once it's seen, once it's come to conscious awareness. It can't be distorted anymore. So for that, I got no issues with it being popular. It's just a matter of you got to shake off that tropical algorithm and start looking at what's really going on up there.
Yeah, if anything, the tropical algorithm serves a purpose to show just how blatant timeline manipulations are from certain powers. Or let's not even call them a power, from certain groups.
Yeah.
Certain
groups,
people that love to worship
that want to,
terrible entities.
That are in service to self, basically, and manipulate things bend it to their will. I mean, the Lionsgate ritual is a perfect example of that. With where that's calibrating the energy on the planet at that day on that day is like, what?
Yes. And check out our Lionsgate episode for more info on that.
Yeah. We'll probably have to do that annually. Just do a little memo on Lionsgate annually until that gets taken care of, because that is the power of manipulating time. When people across the globe focus their intent on something that is sending the, it siphons the energy or staples the energy to a place on the grid on the planet, which is not in your highest best alignment. Yeah. They think it's connected to Egypt, but it's actually going somewhere else on the planet. You're just like, don't fall for the shenanigans. And you're better off not even being into astrology and just ignoring it than to just do the ritual on the day with all the other people. Yeah. Because then you just don't even know where your energy is going. So just ignore all that stuff. Your body knows the truth. So listen to your body, because the Sirius alignment is a true thing. It's just not when they tell you it is.
Yep.
It's actually way more complex than most people understand. So go listen to whatever episode it was at the beginning of our episodes. It's probably our first transit. Was it our first transit episode? Like episode 3? I think it was episode 3. A lot of good stuff in episode 3, apparently.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll have to do an updated one.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I don't worry about it too much. If you're into astrology, and you're curious minded, you'll shake off that tropical algorithm. But great question.
And also,
thank you.
Yeah, also curious about yourself too.
Yeah.
True self.
Your true self. Yeah, and like I said, your body will feel those transits. Like you'll know when it's true and when it's baloney.
Yep.
Let's see.
You feel good about
holistic soul are oh wait, is that part of a so many people look up to spiritual leaders who've written books, have huge followings, run all sorts of courses, sadly connected to tropical astrology. Oh, I know. I waded through all that stuff too. I was well in that tropical astrology world for since high school. And it probably wasn't until maybe 7 or 8 years ago where I was like, wait a minute. It can take people a whole lifetime.
Yeah.
And it's just where humanity's at. So there's no judgment. I don't worry about it. People figure it out.
I may have a gavel, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people put stock in what their astrologers say, so I understand that. But it's kind of a stay in your lane situation. Like, if you understand it, then you have a responsibility to live by your truth and maybe share it. Maybe you talk about it. Maybe you bring it up in conversations in social settings that might push people's buttons, like we do. We just do it very publicly.
Yeah, it's true.
You just start talking about it. So yeah, it's kind of like you just let them do their thing. You just, how you staple a truth to the grid is like you just start talking about the truth. That's it. And then it just, is like it'll just filter through everything. People will hear about it. It'll get there.
Yeah. People will see for themselves, and that's part of being a true leader. It's not telling people what to think. It's not feeding people information as though they're idiots who can't think for themselves. It's inspiring them to think for themselves and knowing, most people are smart enough to come to their own conclusions. You can give them the data and then allow them to come around whenever it is alignment with their own soul.
Yeah. They just need that Uranus moment, that, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, the same thing happened to me. And I used to have people in my comments, talking about Ophiuchus this, Ophiuchus that, and I didn't have ears to hear it. And granted, I will say a lot of the the way that they were trying to show it was just so abrasive that it was just kind of just a turn off in general to even open my eyes to the sky. But then one day I happened to get a sky app and I looked at it and I was like, oh my God. Like what
face plant moment.
What? Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, people will see it when they have eyes to see it. And in terms of, how you say there are no way of currently to hold people to account / harms being done, that is the divine's job. Trust me, there is an Akashic record of everything. And again, maybe it's not meant for this lifetime. Like for me, I probably knew astrology in multiple past lives because it was so easy for me to master it. I started studying it at 9. It just came very easy to me. It was something I was naturally attracted to. And then now my North Node, literally in Ophiuchus, is like, yeah, those gifts you have? Boom, here's a whole new system that now, you have to learn. And it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah.
Upgrade time, up leveling time.
Yeah. People who just are stuck in the tropical algorithm, it's more of a reflection of where they are on their own journey.
Exactly. And it can serve a purpose. It being so popular is just a stepping stone. And I don't really know that I'm noodling on that part about harm being done to others. And it's like, when you've learned this Uranus skill, nothing is ever wasted.
I think it's like the harm more of like the false sense of self and false notion. But there's also, understanding that those people consent to listening to this.
Yeah. Like, and it's just kind of a place where they're at. It's not like they're damned to hell for all time and eternity.
Oh yeah, no.
It's just some growing pains, and maybe they need to deal with some abandonment issues because they're looking for themselves outside of, or they're looking for somebody else to, tell me all about myself because I don't know myself.
Right.
That should be their first clue.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And again, it like, one of the quote unquote leaders, who have written the books and have huge followings in the tropical algorithm, part of their karma in the next life could be that they'll see the truth. Maybe not in astrology, any regard, right? And then they have to be the people to go against the echo chamber of whatever it may be in science and medical field and reality, space, astrology, you name it, right? Conspiracy theory or whatever. So, their karma will be to reconcile the, misleading that they've done. Then they'll have to lead themselves back to the truth and have a mission to lead others to it as well.
Yeah. And that's what I mean when I say like it's a stepping stone, is like it can be a multi-life stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
Different lessons in different lifetimes, but your higher self will be like, okay, she learned some stuff about astrology in this life, cool, now we've got to do it in alignment with the truth. Mm-hmm. And that's for the next life.
Yep.
It could be for this life. It's just, I think it's fine. I think it's that it's so popular is actually good. It means the collective is on the cusp of the next step. So I'm actually okay with it being there, because honestly, if it hadn't been so popular, I probably never would have found it or been interested. I mean, that may not be true, but it definitely made it easier that it was so accessible, that there's a freaking chart calculator at your fingertips for any modality you want to look at. But still, it's still available. Mm-hmm. It's like, because people are interested in it, it's available, it's everywhere. It's an app on your phone. So in general, I'm like, so it's not exactly aligned with the sky. We'll get there. It's fine. We're real. It's so close. It's fine.
Well, like 27 degrees, not close, but Yeah.
It's getting more, I mean, by
getting,
close,
yeah.
I mean, it's getting more
As a
obvious that
collective,
it's
yeah, more
not
and more
this,
people are
yes,
awakening to
yes,
it and seeing it for
yeah,
themselves. And a lot of people aren't even into astrology. They're just, into
yeah,
astronomy or looking at the sky and then hearing what astrology people say and being like, what? No, that's not true. Which
yeah.
can give astrology a bad name because, again, a lot of people, have this belief that people who believe in astrology are idiots. And it's like,
Oh
well,
yeah, you ask an astronomer, and we're all crazy over here on the
yeah.
astrology side of it.
Mhm.
They're just making shit up.
Yeah.
So, but you got to understand, like the way things were coded into the sky are stories to be handed down, which are like parables. They're there's life lessons in there. There's echoes, and it's a very thoughtfully woven story that somebody left us clues to do our inner work. Like,
Mhm.
oh, everything's a reflection. So, yeah, I always think like our ancient selves were so incredibly in tune with, they were just super genius. Like they understood as above, so below, and all these things. And they
Mhm.
coded the story in because they understood we're storytellers, and that's how it will get passed on, how the message will get through. So again, that goes back to the tropical astrology. It's like, yeah, it's a little distorted, but hey, the story's still here. So good. Good job. We'll get it calibrated. It's fine.
We're doing our best.
I'm just having fun. Like I
Yeah.
think that's what it comes down to is like,
Mhm.
hey, this is what I see.
Do you see what I
Do
see?
you see what I see up there? Let's go get a laser pointer and look at it
Mhm.
and talk about it and talk
Point
about
it out.
stories in old, probably like earlier human times, and that's how they used to, what they used to do, sit around the fire and look at the sky. And it sure is fun.
Yeah, my
So I think
Placidian
that's the
influence
best.
definitely gives it more of a burn to the ground type energy, but that's why we make a good pair.
Yeah, a little bit of burning, a little bit of
Uh-huh.
dancing. We'll get it
Yeah.
all worked out.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This is
I
the
think
astrological Burning Man. Bring your bikinis, babes, and your
we're
glow
fire
stick.
dancing and your
Uh-huh.
glow stick. We'll rave it out. Hilarious. This meetup's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, it is. I hope everyone is ready to have some fun.
We're going to have to make sure we're out on like some acreage,
Mm-hmm.
not around the people, so we can
Muggles.
do some hooting and hollering.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Awesome. So we'll keep you guys
All right.
posted on the meetup
Definitely.
for solstice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good
Super
times. Thank you for
good.
that thoughtful question, holistic soul.
Yes, thank you for all your amazing questions.
Amazingness. That made some very good points.
Mm-hmm.
Things I have mulled over a lot, and I decided not to worry about it. Like, hey, I'm doing my thing. Maybe they have karma to do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go, you guys go
I've
for it.
learned to let it go because it's been years at this point, and it's like, the true sky tends to gatekeep itself, is what I've seen. It's like when people are ready to see, they're gonna see. It's just there. But when I actively zoom in on it, that's when I'm like, but in general, it does not perturb my life. I don't care. I'm too busy doing amazing other things. So
That's right. And the
it's like,
truth
and
will,
that's the thing is like, yeah, I've been using True Sky Astrology for a handful of years now, since 2020. So 4 years. And my life has gotten better and better and better. So, I mean, that's the proof for me. I've
yeah,
become
and
more aligned
the
and yeah,
the truth will always prevail. So
yes, exactly.
it'll shake out in alignment. It always does. That's it has to be because we have a unified field and it's always working to unify. So we may go through many cycles of purging and realigning and purging. It's fine. It'll all shake out fine in the end.
Mhm.
Everybody gets where they're going.
Yep. And everything's being you know, the Akashic record has that thing. So in terms of, you know, harm being done or whatever, it's like we'll think about non-astrological harm, you know, quote unquote harm, you know. The divine is
I think
always
it's more, I
response
think it's a
to
bigger
what's happening.
deal. Yeah, it's a bigger deal karmically, the ones that are manipulating the timelines
Yes,
with
for sure.
malicious intent,
Exactly.
i.e. the church, et cetera, et cetera. The ones that I want to say set up that system
Or like we're yeah
for timeline manipulation.
Yes.
That's some juju to reconcile.
Yeah, it's straight up black magic. Straight up black magic.
Manipulative magic.
Siphoning. Yes.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Timeline.
Dark.
Yeah. Crunk ass timeline.
Evil
bullshit.
magic. We'll call it evil magic.
So I'm not so worried about tropical astrologers doing tropical astrology readings. It's more like the church has got some demons to evict out of it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So all that stuff will come crumbling down.
Energy.
Yeah.
I just laugh at them at this point.
I feel like a lot of that's probably going to come to light through this US Pluto return, all these Pluto transits with Altair. Like, I feel like there's going to be some major energetic things going on at the higher dimensions that will trickle down over time. So I think that's really relevant, you know, bringing these questions up and those thoughts, you know, those streams of thought up. I think it's going to be really tied to some of that Pluto shadow stuff that needs to go. Goodbye. Yeah. Probably keeping people from their organic timelines, you know, remote viewing through time and dimensions to keep manipulating, you know, to self-perpetuate the distortions. Is like, that's coming up to be addressed. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Especially in this country.
Yeah. For sure. It's gonna be a ride.
Yes, indeed. All right, good times. Okay. Great questions. Thank you, crew.
Thank you,
everybody.
And thank you,
we still have people in the chat. That's amazing.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. And thanks for joining us live or on the replay. We are your hosts, Sachi and Janine. You can find me, Sachi, at Sachi the Seer on Instagram, YouTube, or X. I keep wanting to call it Twitter. And I have recently begun doing my readings back on YouTube. So if you're interested in those, check them out. And also my books are open. If you're interested in working with me, now would be a great time to check that out. You can do that on sachitheseer.com.
Right on. And I'm Janine. You can find me at Inner Sky Alchemy. Most of my astrological content is coming through the True Sky Crew account, though. And my books are closed. I had a very intense April, so nope. Just keeping them closed.
Yep. And our next episode will be in 2 weeks. That is on May 9th here on YouTube. You can join us live at 11:30 EST, where we will discuss Scorpius.
Are we going to do Ophiuchus too? Is it Scorpius Ophiuchus?
I think, yeah, maybe combining them into one is a good idea.
I think so too. I don't think you can talk about one without the other.
Yeah, I think, okay. So we will discuss Scorpius and Ophiuchus.
Yay!
And until then, keep your feet on the ground and your eyes to the skies, because the true sky don't lie.
That's right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Take care.